Before we get into the podcast, we got to talk about the sponsor of today's episode, and that is Prize Picks. This weekend, they have a free Jaden Daniels square that you guys can take advantage of.
Now, listen, my Eagles are going to put him in the box, but he'll still get 1 yard, at least.
He's going to get that in the first drive, no doubt about it. But if you guys want to support the show, use code PAS, play $5, get up to $50 to play with. It's a no-brainer.
Hello, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls, and it's now episode 450. In this episode, it will be a mix between NBA and NFL, just like it was last episode. And on this episode, we're going to talk about the Warriors and the Lakers' direction as a franchise, Russell Westbrook's resurgence, now that he's not playing with LeBron James. He's playing with Nikola Jokic. You know, somebody is maximizing his play style, Drew, actually. And then we will go over our predictions for the AFC and NFC championship games in Dehls. Aaron Glenn, he's on the New York Jets.
We're here.
Great hire. We are here. We're back
Jets
into
podcast.
our delusional ways about the Jets. But
Thanks.
yes, episode 450. How are you guys doing?
And you introduced yourself. Good job.
He
did it
introduced
last
himself
episode.
last time, too. Fucking dumbass. That being said, I'm doing all right. I had an interesting last couple of days. I say that because I was at the gym, and I was working out. I'm doing my set of rows, and I'm on my last set. It's the row machine where you put the weight on, and you can put however much weight you want. I had it 135. I'm doing my last set, and this woman comes over to me and asks, how many more sets do you have? I have one set. Tell her one set. She's like, all right, sweet. So I finished my last set. I'm going to re-rack my weights. She comes over, and before I could take all of them off, she goes, uno, as in to leave one plate on. Let me preface. This is a white woman. This woman believes that I don't speak a lick of English.
Trump's America, man.
She says, uno,
It's been
uno.
3 days.
I could not help but just laugh in her face. I never had that type
Is she like
of
an older
experience.
white woman? Like,
Yeah.
Like middle-aged type?
no.
Like Karen type?
She definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Because she doesn't look good. She didn't look good. But if she's an older woman, then I will give her respect. She's in shape. But it was egregious. I just started laughing. Nothing like that's ever happened to me. But I mean, it is what it is. I thought it was funny. I only laughed because, you know, you can only do so much in that moment. What was I supposed to do? Embarrass that woman right then and there? No, but it was an interesting occurrence. I figured I'd share that with you guys.
That reminds me of a woodshop class that I took when I was a freshman in high school. I think a sophomore year, actually. I went to Garfield. The woodshop teacher looks at me, and then he calls me Carlos.
No way.
Yes, I
That's
swear to
wicked.
God.
Was there a kid named Carlos in your class?
No.
Oh, that's crazy.
He just looked at me. He's like, Carlos. And then I'm like,
That's
this
insane.
You just
motherfucker.
guessed?
Yeah, he just saw me. I had curly hair. I was Spanish. He just said I'm Carlos.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Another thing that I want to share is my brother was using ChatGPT, and he asked it about us. And he's like, do you know about Pigside Podcast? It gave like this whole big description. And then he asked about like the individual members of the pod. I'm going to share what ChatGPT said about everyone.
This is so funny.
So it starts by saying the Pick a Side podcast crew is made up of passionate sports fans with a knack for debate and deep analysis. Here's a breakdown of the main members. Joel Moran. Joel is the host and central figure of the podcast. Known for his insightful takes on both NFL and NBA, he's often the one keeping the conversations flowing. His knowledge of player performance, stats, and trends makes him a reliable voice on the pod. Joel has a great balance of being analytical and relatable. They do it to all of us.
Oh, yeah.
It's a glazing of all of us, to be fair. Joel has a great balance of being analytical and... You're foul. You're foul.
Charles should ask it to be disrespectful.
Yeah, be
about it.
rude. Like,
Should've.
what's the wrong
Charles,
things about
next time,
them?
ask it to be disrespectful as fuck.
So it says a great balance of being analytical and relatable, which makes him engaging for listeners. River Brown. River adds a bold, unfiltered edge to the podcast.
Unfiltered.
He's not afraid to challenge others' opinions,
They're
which
getting
leads
dangerous
to some fiery debates. They are. They are.
Kind of close, man.
River is well versed in basketball, bringing strong insights to NBA discussion,
Let's be
often
serious.
with a passionate delivery. It says Andrew Velez. Andrew is
I was
the
short as fuck.
do you want me to read it again?
No.
I'll read it again for you. Andrew Velez. Andrew is the charismatic and energetic presence of the group. He's known for his ability to argue both sides of the debate convincingly, which makes him a strong contributor to the pod's dynamic. His knowledge extends across sports, making him versatile in conversations. My takeaway from that was,
Can't wait to
am
get
I
the
the
Dehls,
real
man.
flip aside? Who knows?
Shit,
Then it says Joel Dehls. Joel Dehls rounds out the team, offering a more measured and thoughtful perspective. While he's quieter compared to some of the others, his
the F word.
contributions are always sharp and well
Oh,
reasoned.
what'd you say?
He's quiet.
While he's quieter compared to some of the others, his contributions are always sharp and well reasoned. He often plays the role of mediator when debates get heated. The chemistry between the four is what makes the podcast so entertaining. Each member has a distinct personality and perspective, leading to well-rounded and engaging discussions. They don't shy away from calling each other out, which keeps the debates lively and authentic.
That's a great description
I
of the
thought
podcast.
so too, honestly.
She was lit.
I liked it. Charismatic and energetic was a
What was
great
that, bro?
descriptor of me.
Like this?
Seems like vagina, you sicko. But bold was
Edgy?
facts.
Or
Bold
is
and edgy.
edgy?
Yeah, I'll read it again because Riv said it was
felt
short.
funny.
No, you are bold and unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
You said edgy.
Well, no,
Fiery.
it adds a bold, unfiltered edge to the podcast. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's all there.
Is that wrong? No, you are unfiltered. Yeah,
Definitely.
Here you go. Calm down.
What would you grade that description of yourself?
Solid A.
So this is going to be a long episode. We got a lot of NBA and NFL topics to cover. And when we do these long episodes, we have to get energized. And how do we get energized? We get energized with MagicMind. If you're looking for mental wealth in 2025, MagicMind is the place to go. You can go to magicmind.com/PAS January to get 40% off your order, and they got a 100-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied with it. But fellas, MagicMind has been a friend of the show. They're sponsoring this episode, and we couldn't say enough good things about them.
Do you know how good you have to be for us to just take this and take it to the face? It's gone. Love MagicMind. Every podcast we need MagicMind for, it just makes us feel sharp, makes us feel like we actually can focus on a conversation. 3-hour pod, it's inevitable. We're doing a 3-hour pod today. We need MagicMind.
This might push 4, honestly, but no, MagicMind's been great. I mean, the Celtics are on a West Coast trip right now. I stayed up. They went to overtime last night against the Clippers. I was up till 2 a.m. probably watching that
hurting,
godforsaken game. But
You
it
see how we
wasn't.
feel.
It literally won.
If it wasn't for MagicMind, I didn't feel like it. If it wasn't for MagicMind, I don't know if I'd be here right now. Need some energy. Got a long show. It's about to be. By the time we finish this, it's probably gonna be midnight. So long night ahead.
No, yeah, MagicMind. Listen, long day, going from teaching to reffing a bunch of 8th grade girls and 8th grade boys. Game was not fun at all. Needed to come here, get some energy, and MagicMind helps with that.
Well, the good thing is that they also have this sleep shot that's also in front of us. And once you
need
guys
that.
finish the show, all of us
Might
take a
need
little
that.
shot, go to sleep, be refreshed for the morning, because we know sleep is such an important part of your day and your routine. So if you struggle with sleep, this sleep shot could be something that helps you out. So if you guys want to try MagicMind out and also help out the podcast, go to magicmind.com/PASJAN or click the link in the description below to get 40% off your order on MagicMind. Now, fellas,
Dehls, now you see how we feel watching Lakers and
Oh
Warriors,
my
bro.
God.
Yeah,
We get our
fucking
ass
dreadful,
kicked.
dude.
It's pretty. Well, I stay up late. So
1 in the morning, we lose. I'm tight now, and I'm aggravated.
Now,
I gotta
low key,
sleep.
bro, I was thinking, should I turn this game off and go to sleep? Because if we lose, I'm not gonna sleep, bro. It would have got me so
when
excited.
I was in nursing school, it was brutal. When I was in nursing school, it was horrendous, but I did it.
Bro, I was watching the game last night. He was up. First half. Going in the second half. 61-43. All right. It's cool. Lost the game. I'm up just at 1 in the morning just looking at the wall. Like dead ass, bro. Like we just like what's
Now,
up?
are you talking about the Warriors or the Cavaliers?
No, the Warriors. Cavs,
yeah.
33 wins. We're fine.
Okay.
The Warriors.
36.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 36 wins. We're fine. The Warriors need a win more than I need an
with
error.
you.
Loss.
It's talking about that ChatGPT description. Get the fuck out of here.
You deserve that shit. You deserve that shit.
Oh, man. But by the time this podcast gets out, they might not have that many wins no more. It really depends. But, fellas, we got to talk
play
about... I don't think they play tonight. But,
Who?
Yeah, the Cavaliers.
They play Saturday.
Okay.
They
so
got to
that's
play
next time
Rockets
they play?
again in Cleveland.
Okay, so you redeemed yourself just right here with that.
Well,
so
you said they might not have that many wins.
Yeah, I
yet.
was gonna say,
confused,
you
like,
don't
this
go
is coming
backwards.
out. Yeah.
no, because
Yeah.
what if they? Oh yeah, you're
Insight
right. You're
on
right.
both,
You
right?
are right. You're right. You're all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, let me check. They actually do have 36 wins, 36-7, 21-2 at home.
That's
Cavaliers
fucking
are.
ludicrous, bro.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
What?
You heard that word? I just
Ludicrous. I know you had that in the bag.
You didn't know that. But
John said some weird shit last episode. What did he
He
say?
tried to say amalgate, like he
Why
tried
would
to
he-
say
why-
amalgamate.
Why would,
know.
why would he try to say that?
Because John thinks that he's educated. He's not really educated that well. He needs to hit the books a little harder.
For university, John's
that
doing
frat,
his
man.
thing.
He got into that frat and
Dig
changed.
into that frat.
Voice got deeper.
He's very strong now.
So we got a comment on the last podcast, and the comment was about a debate that someone saw on social media between Dehls and Riv, the Lamar Jackson debate that we were also featured in. And the reason why they aren't on the full episodes is because we are starting to do exclusive content for our social media channels only, just so if people follow us on TikTok and they don't follow the YouTube channel, they're getting different content than the content you guys are getting, because this is our full show and we want those clips to be different for social media, for Twitter, for Instagram, for TikTok. So just to add some exclusivity, some spice to the content that we're putting out. But we are thinking about maybe recording those moments and posting it on Patreon as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, we might have that down the line. But that's just for anybody wondering about, where that clip is at.
Yeah, people were fiending for that. Riv was cooking. Joel was cooking.
It's a lot of mean words said about you, I'll be honest, Riff.
Me?
Yeah.
Like what
I
type of
expected to get all the pushback because this is the first time ever that Lamar Jackson was getting defended. You know what I
Because he
mean?
finally played well.
Oh, he played well.
Yeah,
For his
a
standard.
meaningful game. Yeah, he played. Yeah,
But I
first
was
time.
shocked. That's why when that video went out and I saw it started getting momentum, I was like, damn, I already know this can get shit on. But surprisingly, I didn't.
I was shocked too.
That's interesting.
I just think that it was for one reason only. I think you know.
Because I'm a black man defending a white quarterback.
On MLK Day, it was wicked.
No, I think that the Ravens fans are just super emotional about Lamar Jackson.
As they should be.
Yeah, yeah.
I am.
If I had a
I'm
quarterback as good as Lamar Jackson,
Yeah,
I'd
be
be
up.
treating him like he walked water.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think the entire MVP conversation became toxic because of Ravens fans. I think Bills were mostly pushing back on the stuff.
I disagree
Do
wholeheartedly.
you
Have
think
you
it
guys
was
seen
Bills
Ryan?
Other
fans?
way around.
Have you
You
seen
think
Ryan
so?
Clark fighting for his life lately? Yeah, dude. Because last year he shitted on Josh for losing the game against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
He said, "Smoke your stats with your hookah."
Yeah.
Josh.
So then when Lamar lost, he put out this whole apology.
Keep your head up.
Like, yo, you
Keep
did
your head
everything
up,
you could. 8, whatever his number is. Like, yo, keep your head up. So people are now attacking him. Mainly Buffalo fans.
Marcellus
you're not-
Wiley attacked
Yeah, you're
him.
not he wasn't keeping the same energy. Like now Ryan Clark is kind of saying Lamar, he did everything he could. He fought hard.
Surprising. Ryan Clark's a Steeler guy.
No, but he loves Lamar.
How can you not love Lamar?
I guess if you were a Steeler guy, I wouldn't love Lamar.
That too. That's a fact. But I think Bills fans really want this MVP for Josh. They really wanted it
do.
badly.
Yeah.
He hadn't had an MVP.
Well, they wanted it last year.
Lamar won, and I think last year he
wanted it
was
last year.
deserving.
They begged for it last year.
Well,
my
this year he was deserving too.
I think he is deserving. This was an MVP type season. I agree. I think the MVP is Lamar though.
I mean, listen, I think Josh Allen, the Bills' points per drive is higher than the Ravens this year.
You get analytical on
Their
me. I get
EPA per
it.
play is also
With the
better.
ChatGPT
I know, but you have stats, and on top of it, you were watching a Ravens game. It was like watching the perfect orchestra. Lamar was that flawless this season.
He was, but I think the offensive personnel around him was also better than Josh's.
I won't give you
And
pushback
I feel like
on
when
that.
we take into account the expectation of the Bills coming into the season, the way that Josh Allen cut down the negative plays, turnovers, and sacks, he's the only quarterback in NFL history to have 40-plus touchdowns and less than 14 total negative plays. I mean, interceptions including sacks. He did something historic too, and that's why I feel like the conversation became disingenuous, because while Lamar Jackson did do something historic, so did Josh Allen.
did like 15
Both of
things.
these dudes had
4,000.
historic seasons.
4,000 passing, 800 rushing,
Fire.
less than 5 interceptions, less than 10 turnovers. Dude, he was.
Yeah, I'm cool with either quarterback. I think Bills fans though are just
Are you?
not. Yeah,
don't know,
obviously
bro.
I want Lamar to win.
I know, no.
But,
But
I
like
wouldn't be
last
like,
podcast, it
Josh
seemed
Stewart.
like you had an agenda against Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm rooting for Josh Allen, but he deserves to win MVP just as much as Lamar does. I think Bills fans, though, it comes from a place of he got robbed, whatever. Whatever you want to say, last year's MVP, if he deserved it or Lamar,
the
I think was
goalpost
pretty
moved.
fair. The
Last
goalpost
year.
also moved,
The
yeah.
goalposts moved from this year to last
Oh,
year.
that I
Absolutely.
agree with.
And then Josh is on the MVP. He doesn't have Super Bowl, obviously. So it feels like as great as Josh is, he doesn't have the accolades to back it up. So I think Bills fans at some point are saying we need something, right? Yeah. Obviously, Josh has plenty of years left in the league, but at some point, it's like, damn, Lamar's got 3, and this year, him and Josh are basically the same, just as efficient. Maybe Josh is slightly better here, Lamar is slightly better here. At one point, are we going to move the goalpost for Josh? Because we just moved it for Lamar. I understand that.
It got worse when the All Pros came out, and when you saw damn near the Baltimore roster got on there. And it was like 2 Bills.
6 All-Pros to 1 All-Pro.
It was like, then it got worse.
The Bills, the only All-Pro the Bills had was Josh Allen. Yep. They had 2 Pro Bowlers. It was Deion Dawkins.
I hear that, but the person who always gets slighted in these conversations is James Cook. He's the one who always gets left out.
He's great. He is the next tier of running back. Like the elite guys, and then James Cook is a great.
I think that is very well said.
There's such a gap between the elite guys and James Cook, unfortunately.
Yeah. He's not a 5.5, but he's good. He's really good.
Between like Saquon and Derrick Henry, and then James Cook, there's a big gap.
That's fine. I won't argue that he's in their class, but he's still one of the most efficient rushers in football.
He is.
And then now this year, you add on top of it, he's a touchdown machine. Led the league in touchdowns.
Did he have 1,000 this year though?
He did.
He
did have it.
Did he?
He did have 1,000, but
not all purpose.
He didn't have it. No, of course, all purpose for sure.
Yeah, I'm saying
he had 1,000 rushing yards, but he got it week 18 when Josh Allen didn't play. So when Josh Allen played from weeks 1 to 17, he wasn't in 1,000-yard
touchdowns.
He had 1,009. Yes, that's why I wasn't sure either.
Yeah, I know my stance against
rushing is different. Rushing is different.
Stance against the 1,009 guys.
Rushing is different. What's so different
That's
about
9 yards over? I don't know. I don't feel like I don't like that.
But
he had a lot of touchdowns.
You want to know why also
he
it's
a touchdown machine.
Which is new for
when
him.
was the last week he had 50% of snaps? Talking regular season.
I don't think he's that type of back.
But I mean, he could be.
Because Josh is also implemented into the run game,
sure.
and then they love their 3 running
They
backs.
love Ty. They love
three.
him. As they should.
Davis is good. Ty
Johnson was great this
Ray
year.
Davis could be a starter on a lot of
Ty
teams.
Johnson was on the Jets. You know, he got that green
And
white.
on top of that,
he bleeds green and
James
white.
Cook sometimes does drop the ball.
He's not. He doesn't have the best of hands.
He's not the same blocker as like a.
No,
Ty
but James
Johnson
Cook is in the next tier.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys a question. I don't want to get wrapped up too much in this conversation about the question I'm about to ask, but I just want to ask you this question. I want you guys to answer it truthfully. Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, the Hall of Fame thing, whatever. I think Stafford's a better quarterback, but resume, I do think it goes to Russell Wilson. I feel like the narrative has swayed on Russell Wilson so much the past 4 years because of his stint with Denver and now with the Steelers that he's kind of gotten disrespected in his career. Am I crazy for saying from 2012 to 2020, Russell Wilson was viewed as the better quarterback than Stafford? I feel like only for the past 4 years, Stafford is viewed as the better quarterback.
I think because as their games aged,
Stafford was much better.
One aged well, one aged poorly.
Yeah.
It showed that Russell was primarily an athlete. This is more so than a talent guy.
Yeah.
I think Matthew Stafford is one of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen, and we saw it age with his game as well. We saw his game age very well. As for Russ, his style of play was based off his athleticism and extending.
People don't think Russ is a Hall of Famer.
That's insane.
I feel like we are just
he's a Hall of
overlooking what he did.
He's closer to,
When he was
he's
a
closer
Bronco,
to
you didn't
first
think he was a
ballot
Hall of
than
Famer.
Not a Hall of Famer.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
He's playing his way out of the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, he was very terrible.
Yo, that's a lot. He's closer to the Hall of Fame than Matt
But
Ryan.
they're saying no.
Yeah,
But as
easily.
we stand right now in 2025, I think Matthew Stafford, like you said, is better than Russell Wilson. I think he's more of a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, than Russell Wilson for the sole fact I think Matthew Stafford is better.
I feel like if Eli gets in, Russ could get in.
Russ is a lock. I think
Eli
Stafford
gets
is
in, he's setting the
close to a lock.
Say
I
it
don't
one
think.
more time,
I think
podcast.
Russ is a lock.
yes.
For me, he's a lock because when
I don't
before he
hate
got
that.
traded to Denver, I forgot the year, maybe the year before he got moved. I thought he was a borderline top 5 quarterback, and
But how long was he doing it for?
multiple seasons.
Was it like
multiple
a long
years?
stint?
Yeah, he
'Cause,
had he had a stretch for
longevity
sure.
is really important.
Well,
for
it was
quarterbacks.
always let Russ cook because they thought the offense was holding him back because when he did pass, they were super efficient. But when you win, especially as much as he did, obviously the Legion of Boom was the number one factor. But Russ was a great quarterback. Marshawn Lynch. When you win, you get propped up. Like Jaden Daniels had a sensational rookie season. If he didn't win these playoff games, which again he played great, if he's not in the NFC Championship game right now, we're not talking about him as a top 6 quarterback. Be like, he had a great year, he's borderline top 10. But when you win and you show up in the playoffs and you have good moments, you're going to get propped up. And Stafford didn't do that for a majority of his time in Detroit. At the same time, Russell Wilson was going to Super Bowls, he was going to NFC Championship games, so he was always going to be a bit higher.
Because I look at this like Russell Wilson, Legion of Boom was really in the first stint of his Seattle career. once they traded Max Unger and made that trade to go get Jimmy Graham, they tried to pair him up with another option that was elite. But he dropped off with Russell Wilson. Was it because of Russ or was it because he just dropped off? Who knows? But from 2016 to 2020, in 5 seasons, Russell Wilson had 161 touchdowns, 47 interceptions, an average of 32 touchdowns and 9 picks a year, and his pass rating was 101.6 with a completion percentage of 65.3.
He was a dog.
And you look at the season.
He was mobile too. He was out of the pocket, extending plays.
From 2016 to 2020, 10-5-1, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. There was a lot of seasons in that late Seattle stint where Russ carried teams to the playoffs. That people went into the seasons thinking they were not going to make it.
He could have won an MVP.
Yeah, it was the year Lamar Jackson was unanimous MVP.
He had 40 TDs.
He never, and his big knock is that he never had an MVP vote. Even though that 2019 year,
that was the year he
was
40
amazing.
It wasn't unanimous for Lamar, in my opinion, because Russell Wilson led the league in game-winning drives.
He just fell off after week 11. That was the issue.
Yeah, but
Russ from week 1 to week 11 was amazing. The end of the year NFL top 100. Lamar was 1, I believe, and Russell Wilson was 2. Yeah. Like, that's how dominant the two of them were.
Yeah, I mean, after the Legion of Boom, right, after 2016, if you're looking at 2017 up until Russ's last year, the defense never cracked top 10 in terms of points scored. The offense was a top 10 unit 3 out of the 5 years. Like, Russ, the offense was the reason why they were winning. Defense had some moments, sure, but it wasn't LOB, type of talent. Exactly, yeah.
He definitely got carried to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to discount that. But I feel like the last 3 years of Russell Wilson, 2 years with the Broncos, 1 year with the Steelers, has kind of washed a lot of what he did early in his career to a lot of people recently. People aren't really judging him fairly. Like, the first year with the Broncos was absolutely terrible. Second year, too, but if you look at just the numbers from his second year and the Steelers year, it's not bad.
I'll say this. Second year with the Broncos, it was bad. It wasn't dog shit. He was efficient with what obviously his touchdown interception, but when he got into the red zone, we were scoring. We were more often than not, we were scoring. But his pocket presence was so bad.
I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and we're going to look at the Broncos and Steelers year, not throw it out, but we're not going to carry too much weight.
This is the Pro Football Quarterback Hall of Fame monitor, and they do it like they have points for quarterbacks. Yeah, probabilities. Tom Brady, obviously, 263, Peyton Manning, 257. I'm not going to go through all of them. Right now, the quarterback that has the highest Hall of Fame monitor, the current quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. He's at number 3. Then it goes, Matt Ryan is at 106. Mahomes is at 100. Then it's Big Ben at 100. It's Phillip Rivers at 98. Russell Wilson's at 92. He's 4 points ahead of Kurt Warner at 88.
Put this shit together? Matt Ryan fucking 106, man.
No, he is. Yeah, no. I'm just saying. The average Hall of Fame quarterback, they have it here, they have to get to an average point total of 108.
Okay.
And Matt Ryan's at 106.
Mahomes isn't there yet.
Yeah, I think that's still.
Throw this list away, right?
Yeah. Pretty much. But Russell Wilson's at 92, Eli's at 86, and Stafford's at 84.
Eli might get in.
Kurt Warner, who actually is in the Hall of Fame already, isn't at 108.
Yeah, he's at 88. But they're basically saying the average quarterback Hall of Fame, like taking all of them together, what is it?
I was going to say, you also can take that into the fact that Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are at 250.
They were locks.
Manning's at 257.
Yeah, so they're definitely skewing.
They were locks year 10. Maybe before that.
For real.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. The NFL Hall of Fame, I think, is tough to make. So we'll see what quarterbacks
I wish the NBA Hall of Fame was tough. We got dudes getting in because of 4 All-Stars and a couple good seasons and shit, man.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like, to me, I would put Matt Ryan and someone like Big Ben in there. Well, Big Ben is a lock.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan, I would put in there, but I don't know if they're going to get in. Like, I really don't know. Super Bowls are so heavily weighted into getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Joe Namath single-handedly is in the Hall of Fame for one reason and only.
Yeah, he's also a great PR machine. Don't forget that, baby.
Eli Manning's
I remember
great.
those times.
Can't spell Lee without Eli.
No Cook.
I remember those times with Joe Namath, man.
Like yesterday.
Yeah, he was doing his thing.
He was hyped for the Aaron Glenn hiring.
Yeah, people don't realize the impact he had on the culture at that time.
What number do you wear?
12.
Okay.
Oh, come on, man.
Keep on your toes.
It's Joe Namath.
Keep on your toes.
I remember when we traded for Rodgers, like, are they going to make Joe Namath retire his number?
They better. Number 8 doesn't look good on Aaron. Give him number 12, man.
Bro, I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers stinks.
Okay, keep that same energy.
Y'all gonna pick the Jets
before the season. He said we had LeBron.
Sorry.
So it's LeBron. Maybe it's his current version of LeBron.
Hey, LeBron going to the Lakers. The only difference is LeBron's actually good. Rodgers isn't.
This is what we're gonna talk about right now. The Lakers. Shams reported on ESPN.
Is it Shams or Shams?
It's
It's
Shams.
Shams.
Shams
That,
Charania.
LeBron and Anthony Davis are growing concerned about the Lakers' ability to contend for a championship.
What's your record?
We're the 5th seed right now. Record's a good question.
Couple games over 500.
A few, yes. That being said, I understand where they're coming from. And you look at the Cavs, you look at OKC, you look at the Celtics. Our team's not as good as theirs. We have LeBron and we have Anthony Davis. LeBron is still great. His defense, not so much. Anthony Davis, you look at these last few games that he's played. The true shooting. Do yourself a favor. Don't look at it. It's not been good. The inconsistencies from both LeBron and AD, mix that on top of the fact that this team really hasn't been overwhelming. We understand that. Austin Reeves has been really great these last few games, especially the start of 2025. He's been awesome for us since we lost D'Angelo Russell. He's been one of the more exciting players for the Lakers. Dorian Finney-Smith really has struggled to get going. I know he played well his last game that he played, but outside of that, he really hasn't been. He hasn't
Knockdown shooter.
Correct, which what we were hoping for, considering how well he looked in a Nets uniform. We still lack a big man. We need depth behind Anthony Davis. I say this every single time we talk about the problems with the Los Angeles Lakers since I've been on this show. You look at the Cavs, you look at OKC, and the Lakers are stuck running the same five every single time with Reeves, with LeBron, Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, and that fifth spot really starts to go into a circle, whether it's Max Christie, whether it's Dorian Finney-Smith. And Max Christie, I want to give him some love. He actually has been pretty great for us. A great defender. He's been a little bit spotty with his three-ball, but recently he's been knocking down his shots. The role players aren't championship level role players. This isn't a team that's going to contend right now where it stands for a championship. And I saw somebody put out a post saying, oh, LeBron is always crying about this roster, and he always feels like they're out to get him. But they wanted Russell Westbrook. He wanted Russell Westbrook. He got him. He wanted Russell Westbrook out. They got that. He wanted Frank Vogel out. They got that. He wants all these things that they've done for them.
Got that.
But here's the thing. You look on the opposite side. He wanted Kyrie Irving. That was one of his big asks.
Brother, he wasn't getting that.
He got it. He wasn't getting that because I think of the Nets front office, not because of the Lakers. I think the Lakers tried. It just they wanted too much, and the Mavericks price. You look at it.
The Mavericks didn't give them nothing.
They
Yeah,
really
it
didn't. It was kind of just like, we don't want to trade him to the
players.
Lakers. Let's trade him to the Mavericks. That's kind of how it felt at the time.
I respect
that
it.
for sure.
Me too.
would
Because
know that.
Kyrie, especially for how they felt he was acting, they weren't trying to go in the best interest of Kyrie. But now it turns
out
out
for
this
Kyrie.
might have been the best
Might have
interest because Dallas has been one of the better things for him. He wanted Kyrie Irving. He wanted to keep Caruso. He wanted Ty Lue. He wanted to keep Dennis Schroeder, even though Dennis Schroeder ended up screwing himself there realistically. These are good moves that would have benefited the team. So yeah, there's moves, and I look at the Russell Westbrook move at the time and think, LeBron, you screwed the pooch there. That was a bad move because of the fit with Russell, and obviously there was a lack of spacing, and we had to gut the roster, getting rid of KCP, getting rid of Kuzma, who were great for us in our championship run. Mm-hmm. But where we stand in 2025, it's obviously we're very far removed from that. This isn't a championship team, especially when you look at the landscape of the NBA.
It's pretty much over for the Lakers. I think that they're not going to be able to contend for a championship. They have to play perfect. JJ Redick said it. LeBron said it. They have to play perfect for them to compete every single night. And even the LeBron and Anthony Davis duo isn't the dominant force that it used to be. They have a negative point differential when both of them are on the court together. I mean, this is a team right now that just lacks so much. And to the LeBron not getting everything he wants point, I don't know, man. Like, he got 75% of what he wanted. Maybe like 20 other.
I wasn't saying that he doesn't get what he wants. I'm saying he does. There's times where he wanted stuff that obviously would have benefited the team.
I think KCP and Caruso were like the biggest blunders,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
Ty Lue, it sounded like it wasn't really going to
But in
happen.
order to get
Schroeder,
Russell
they
Westbrook,
tried.
they had to give up KCP.
No, the KCP part, no. KCP was going to be gone. But Caruso, we wanted.
Yes, and I just look at the Lakers and I look at LeBron and the moves that he's involved in. I mean, this is what happens when you have a window where you want to go all in. You make moves that are kind of desperate to go all in. That was what the Russell Westbrook move was, and it never worked out. You know, their play styles were never going to mesh together because they're both the ball dominant players. That's just what they are. And I look at the Lakers and, you know, the Kyrie Irving thing didn't work out, but when he got traded to Dallas, I mean, it wasn't a sure thing he was going to stay in Dallas either.
Yeah.
You know, their first year, they didn't make the playoffs. They had a lottery pick in the draft, and we did not know if he was going to stay. And the only thing the Lakers could offer was a minimum contract or a mid-level exception because they didn't have any salary cap. So when you have those two guys making so much salary, you need them to show up on a consistent basis, and that's just not what they've been doing. I think the Lakers right now are in a tough spot because the biggest question that I look at and I pose is, what's going to happen after LeBron retires, which is coming pretty soon? Are they going to continue to try to build a team around Anthony Davis? Because I don't know how successful that's going to be. Do they trade Anthony Davis for some more assets? I just feel like they're in a position right now to where it wouldn't even be smart to mortgage future picks because there's very little moves that they can make that will take them over the top.
Yeah, they're stuck right now. And I think LeBron's comments comes on the back of the report The Athletic put out a couple days ago, where basically they said that the sense around the league when talking to scouts and front office personnel is that standing pat or making a half-measure trade, likely 1 or 2 second-round picks, is more likely than Lakers going all in, trading both of their future first-round picks that can be moved. I think it's the right move. It's not the move you want to hear if you're a Lakers fan or if you're LeBron James or Anthony Davis, but it's the right move because right now the Lakers are just stuck where they are currently, where LeBron James is still a great player, as well as Anthony Davis. They gave you a baseline floor that you're at a minimum going to be a playing team, right? As long as they're both healthy, along with Austin Reeves, I don't see this team bottoming out and being a bottom 4 or 5 seed in the Western Conference. They're always going to hover around somewhere between like the 5 and the 8 seed as long as those guys are healthy. But the issue right now is LeBron James has kind of been back and forth on when he wants to retire. I feel like we've heard rumors 1 more year, 2 more years. I feel like the latest report is he wants to play 2 more years. And it's hard to envision a world where the Lakers over the next 2 seasons are going to be able to put together a championship roster. Barring some crazy injuries that happen to the Western Conference where OKC gets banged up or Denver or whoever it might be, there's just too many teams out west right now that are too good. And that's not even taking into account the Dallas Mavericks, who have been banged up with injury after injury. Derek Lively's going to be out for 2 to 3 months now. Luka's, of course, hurt. Kyrie's been banged up. That's another team that's clearly better than them when they're healthy. Denver has been playing really good basketball as of late. We're going to talk about them later. But there's just too many teams in the Western Conference that are too good, and that doesn't even take into account all the talent you got over in the East with Cleveland, with the Boston Celtics. The Knicks are looking good. The Magic are young. There's just a lot of talent in the NBA right now, and when you're banking on these 2 stars to really, propel you, right now they're just not good enough. Like LeBron and AD is a really good duo on paper, but as Joel mentioned, they have a negative net rating. Part of that has to do with some of the roster around them, right? It's not the most perfectly constructed team, but Austin Reeves is a pretty damn good player. Is he the 3rd best player in a championship team like we talked about a couple of years ago? I don't know. But it's not like this team is completely devoid of talent. It's just that they need role players that are much better than what they are right now. They need the Derek Whites and the Drew Holidays to be playing at in borderline all-star level. You can't have, D'Angelo Russell, who of course you just moved off of, and Max Christie's getting significant starter minutes because LeBron and AD, as great as they are, it's just hard to see that they're going to be able to carry you to like a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, then, go 3 rounds in the playoffs, get to the NBA Finals. It's a lot to ask for. So if I'm the Lakers and I'm Rob Pelinka, it's not easy to do, but I would rather be trying to sell some assets and move forward to make this a brighter future than go all in. Oh yeah, let me trade 2 first-round picks and this and go get Zach Lavine. What's Zach Lavine going to do? I'm going to go this and go trade for Jimmy Butler. There's just not a move out
no
there.
Way we can get Lavine.
There's not a move out there. Star role player, bench player that's going to change drastically the outlook of this Lakers team.
Well, first of all, Jimmy's a son. They made that trade for 3 picks the other day to Utah.
You saw he wore the Suns shoes.
No, Jimmy
colorway?
Butler will be going to the Suns. That will be happening very soon. How that's going to work, we'll see.
Yeah, Bradley Beal got to go somewhere.
Bradley Beal's heading over to Milwaukee. Chris Middleton's going to the Raptors. I've seen it all. I'm the voodoo here. To your point, though, Dehls, you said something that was interesting. You was like Cleveland. You mentioned Boston. You mentioned OKC. You mentioned Dallas. You was like, those teams are talented. And I agree. What's the difference between those teams and the Lakers? Well, let's break it down real quick. Cleveland, for starters, they have a coach that maximizes all his players. Not only does he maximize all his players, he has about 4 or 5 really good players outside of his 4 stars. You have Ty Jerome, you have Karis LeVert, you have Max Strus, you have Isaac Okoro in spurts, you have George Niang in spurts. Like, this team gets the best out of everybody it puts on the floor. Even Jalen Tyson as a rookie, has given you extremely good minutes. Let's head over to Boston. Got your starting 5. Then you have Peyton that comes in, shoots the shit out the ball. Sam Hauser comes in, shoot the shit out the ball. your center, Neemias, what's his name?
Nimi, Keita.
Keita, he comes in, he's blocking shots, he's catching lobs, Let's go ahead over to OKC. We already know about the guys they have on the roster. Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso when they're healthy, Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins. Let's head over let's go to Memphis. They have guys. Luke Kennard just gave you 26 points the other night.
They should
have
have role
Santi
players.
Aldama. Yeah, I can go all day about Memphis. Houston. Their bench has two demons. They have Amen. They have Tari Eason. They have Dylan Brooks. They have Jock Lando, who comes off the bench, gives you some cool minutes here. And Steven Adams is back. He gives you some solid vet minutes off the bench. What's the difference? Dallas. They have we already had a screaming match about Dallas and their role players, and their role players has been extremely well in the times where they've missed their stars. What's the difference between all those teams and what the Lakers have? In my opinion, the Lakers don't have 5 good players. That's the legit problem here. The Lakers have a coach who's still relatively
That's a strong
young.
statement, Riv.
Like, he's still relatively young. He's still trying to find his footing. So I'm not going to really blame too much on JJ Redick. But they have LeBron, they have AD, they have Austin Reeves. I'll give DFS some leeway because you just got traded. You're still trying to find your way.
What about
Max
Rui?
Christie.
Rui's okay.
He's a good player.
Maxey's.
You just name me Georges Niang. I can say Rui is a good player.
Well, Joe, that was the 10th guy I named.
I understand.
Rui's the 4th guy I'm naming here.
Well,
that's the problem.
Well, you obviously understand.
Rui's not better
Rui
than
is
Rui's not
still
better
a good
than
basketball
yeah, but
player.
Rui's not better
understand.
than a lot of teams' 5th best player. But that's the Lakers' 5th best player.
Rui
You know what I'm
actually has
saying?
been playing some great ball.
Like, he's okay, and then you
No,
got
no.
Max Christie.
I think it's once you get beyond Rui, really.
Yeah, Max Christie's okay.
Like Ty
Like-
Jerome's not better than Rui Hachimura. He's not.
Yeah, tell me.
He's not. He's simply
Legitimately,
not.
like, if you're telling me Ty
Is Rui
Jerome,
better than Max Strus?
no,
Yeah, I would take Rui.
I don't know. Like, Max Strus
That's a
is
close
your,
call.
What is he? Your 6th, 7th best player
I
on the
understand that.
Cavs?
You said we don't have 5 good players.
My point being, if Rui is your 5th best player comparative to these other
well,
teams,
you
probably
are
their fourth.
DFS, Rui Hachimura.
DFS facts.
DFS.
Uh-huh.
I
That's what I'm
mentioned
saying.
DFS.
Yes. I understand
Yeah,
that.
I'm saying like compared
Max
to
Christie.
exactly. Like we're naming
Max Christie is a good basketball player.
Max Christie wouldn't play on the Cavs.
That's wrong.
Wouldn't play.
He wouldn't play.
I mean, the Cavs are super deep. But
that's
I
my
think
point. You know what
the
I'm saying?
issue
Like,
is I don't even think
you
it's
don't have
fair
a
to
good
compare.
roster.
It's not even fair to compare the Lakers to like the top 2-3 teams like
Well,
OKC.
that's
but
where
it's
you
just
wanna
like
be.
like
even if we can compare them to Memphis.
That's to say Memphis
they're the 3rd seed or the 4th seed in the West. You go down Memphis roster and you can't legitimately tell me Max Christie can take any of their 9 guys' spots.
I'm going to tell you what
super
the
deep
real
team.
problem is with the Lakers. Talent is an obvious concern.
You are devoid of talent.
The real concern is that Anthony Davis is not always a top 5 player in the world. At this age, this is his prime.
I mean, he's never.
I don't disagree with what you're going to say, Riv.
He's not really been that.
But the truth is, we traded the world, 4 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart. Josh Hart. We kept Kuzma.
Can I stop you
Oh,
right
yeah,
there?
you're
Right there,
right.
though? When AD has given you two-way performances,
We win.
Throughout listen, when AD has given you two-way ability throughout a season, when he's giving you all NBA defense, when he's giving you that high-end backpacking defense, who has been on the floor with him? It's always been, for the majority, consistently good defenders on the floor. When the Lakers were a top 5 defense, when they won the championship, who did he have on the floor with him? He had guys like Rondo, KCP. He had guys like Alex Caruso. When he was even with the Pelicans and they were having their best year, who was on the floor with him? Drew Holiday, Rajon Rondo. He's at his best when he has guys that can defend on the floor.
And the Lakers have
don't
how many
have that.
average defenders?
Average,
Yes.
Max Christie, DFS.
If you say Rui, I'm going to punch a wall.
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
He's not.
And don't even say LeBron.
But the starting lineup
No,
is
exactly.
LeBron, Rui,
Reeves.
Reeves, DFS, and AD, right?
Yes.
Those are like 3 out of the 5 players that defensively are not giving you
Is
anything.
that not
know.
a bottom 10 starting 5 in basketball?
I mean, you have, come on.
Bottom
10?
15.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They are the 5th seed right now,
Yeah.
so they're winning.
All right.
The 5th seed, it's very close between
You
that.
could drop 2
Yeah,
days later.
lose
You could
quick.
drop to like
Yeah.
7. That's how close.
Anthony Davis in his last 20 games, he's averaging 23 on 49% from the field, 56% true shooting.
Not pretty.
To
That's
start the year, he was so good too.
That is
He was
my-
yeah.
I always talk about we need Anthony Davis to be our best player.
That's the problem.
It's not insane of me to ask of him when we traded the world for him. We won a championship in our first year. We were the first defense the year after that. Obviously, we were injured, so we weren't able to go and have a chance at a repeat. It sucked that happened. And we traded for Russell, and it was downhill from that. Then we come back. We go to the WCF. Him and LeBron were incredible. We fall short to a better team in the Nuggets. Last year, LeBron and AD were great. Anthony Davis was phenomenal. He got taken out of the game in the fourth quarter because they were throwing double, triple teams at him. They really couldn't do much. Anthony Davis was awesome. This year, though, we understood that there was going to be more asked of him, that this man on the screen is turning 40 years old. We understand LeBron's defense is not good. It hurts. He's 40 years old. He has to be an engine for us on the offensive side when we need him to be, which is why I like at least a positive this year has been Austin Reeves and his ascension as a point guard. His ability to obviously handle the ball, but be our initiator, that has been one of the bright spots of this season. But the fact that we don't get a locked-in Anthony Davis every single night when he's supposed to be in conversations for one of the best bigs in the league, one of the best players in the league, and I can't get a consistent 25-26 efficiently, and being on top of the fact that our defense is not good and you're supposed to be one of the better defensive anchors in the league, I get it. Our talent is limited there. But whether you want to accept that or not, Anthony Davis, the responsibility is on you. It may be unfair. It may be unrealistic.
I don't think it's unfair.
You are supposed to be a top 5 to top 10 player in the world.
Yes.
That's the responsibility that you get tasked with.
We're not asking Austin Reeves to be an all-NBA player. We're asking Austin Reeves to do what he's got to do offensively, show at least effort and try on defense, a bit undersized. But, I mean, AD, it's not unrealistic. Like, this is a guy that has been an all-NBA player, right? He is a guy that you thought at some point would be in an MVP conversation, right? At least with the Lakers. And it's hard to see, like, part of it is Anthony Davis like a number one offensive option? Because when you have to rely on Anthony Davis to give you, like you mentioned, like the 26 on efficient scoring for an 82-game stretch in the regular season, he's naturally just going to go through slumps, because off of that, you need LeBron James to show up for 82 games, and he has to save that energy for offense, and then your defense drops off. I mean, there's a lot of holes with the Lakers roster. I do agree that, talent is part of the issue, but it's also the duo, right? Like, it's also LeBron and Anthony Davis. When we were coming into the season, I think we did our top 5 duos. Maybe I'm thinking last year, but regardless, coming into this year, we thought this was one of the best duos in basketball, right? Like, in a talent perspective, it's still one of the best in basketball, but when you actually break it down and see where the deficiencies are for each individual player, it's hard to, it's hard for the talent to kind of match the fit.
Well, your offense isn't awful.
No, it isn't.
Cleaning
It's
the
defense.
cleaning the glass. In the half court, they're 13th in points per possession, 10th in points per play. So they're a good offense.
Solid.
Your defense. Yeah, I don't mean to be a dick.
No, it's
but
terrible,
you're 22nd in points per possession, 18th in points per play.
It's an average team. That's what it's just an average
It's
team.
not pretty.
Is there any team, or what teams in the West can they be in a playoff series if they exist?
We can beat the Clippers.
Is that a fact?
If Kawhi's healthy, it's a close series.
If Kawhi's healthy, I'm taking the Clippers.
Are you taking the inexperienced Rockets?
Their offense still gives me some.
Yeah.
No, I think the Lakers could beat them.
I think
Okay,
Lakers can
what
beat
about
them
the
too.
Grizzlies?
I think this is a different Grizzlies team. Maybe I'm gonna fall for it again, but I think the Grizzlies would beat them.
All right.
No,
that's-
they're so much different than what they were prior.
If the matchup is Nuggets Lakers, we're cooked in 5.
Thunder, you're cooked.
Thunder, we're cooked.
Yeah.
We're cooked.
Oh, without a second thought. I mean, it's pretty much over.
Do you think you can beat them?
Do Isaiah Hartenstein and both Chet Holmgren line up at the same time?
Could the Lakers beat a fully loaded Pelicans team?
The Pelicans have to get somewhere
Pelicans
close.
are like 10 games behind the 10 seed.
I'm just saying, hypothetically.
There's levels to this conversation, pal.
You think so?
Yeah.
A healthy,
I don't
fully
worry about
loaded
teams
Pels
that
team.
aren't in the play-in. You know, like
Jimmy-
Could they beat the Kings in a series?
now we're having a real conversation because the Kings are legit.
Yeah, I think the Kings are
The
better.
Kings are a good team. They're a
Oh,
legitimate
recently.
good team.
The thing is, the Lakers more likely than not are going to be playing a top 4 seed. Right? I don't think they're going to climb to the 3 or the 4 so they could play the Kings. Like, realistically, they're
how
going to
do
be
you know
playing the
that?
Thunder, the Rockets, the Grizzlies, or the Nuggets. You're
How do you
3
know
games
that?
back from Denver, who has been playing some really good basketball as of lately. They've won 3 in a row. The
I don't
Grizzlies
see
are
Memphis
still
and Houston
ascending.
falling off.
I agree.
I don't see them falling off, but if we matched up,
Yeah.
I'll take Memphis.
there's a strong. We have a chance in that series.
You have a chance in every series with
There's only
LeBron.
2 teams where I don't give us a chance, and that's OKC and
I'm
that's
with
the
you.
Nuggets.
I'm with you.
And Dallas.
And Dallas.
They gotta get healthy quick.
They're the 9th seed right now.
Luka is going to be reevaluated January 25th.
I know.
They're
he
9th
probably will
seed
be
right
back.
now, so
He'll probably be back.
Yeah.
You know, sooner
I'm
rather than
very
later.
cognitive.
Yeah, and they're
What's
only
going
a
on
game and a
over
half back of the Lakers. So they
think
just got to
Memphis
stay
beats
Yeah,
them.
but
close.
you get Luka for a couple of those
How many
games.
games?
I think
It's
5 or
over.
6.
They're going to surpass them.
First one,
Us? No way.
You guys can't play defense.
Not in a playoff series.
I think so. I don't think you guys are that good.
What'd you say? Sorry.
I said I think Memphis beats them in 5.
No.
Let me just
No, Memphis.
let me double.
Memphis's offense could still be a little scary in the playoffs.
They've been great in the half court this year.
Well, who's guarding LeBron?
You're
Jalen
also
Wells?
one of the worst transition defense in the league.
I
You know
know.
what Memphis loves to do?
Get on run.
It's just
Yeah, the playoffs are a half-court game.
yeah. Memphis offense, a half court offense has been really good this year.
I think Memphis would beat the Lakers too, but I don't think
Heard
that's
that before.
I don't think that's surefire. I mean, Steven Adams was hurt, Brandon Clark was
You
hurt.
guys
Ja got
didn't.
hurt.
You guys didn't take
Those
that into
guys
account.
matter.
Sadly,
Yeah, I
it sucks.
should've.
Completely
should've.
different team. That's all I
It
can
is a
say.
completely different team.
Jaren's so better.
The depth you have at big this year is different.
And they have shooters
They do.
everywhere.
Everyone,
Yeah.
including J Huff.
And
He
Vince
can
Williams
shoot.
will be back soon. Yeah, I'm
That's huge.
confident in that. Houston, tricky because in that series, maybe you could play you could put AD on Amen, have him drop back.
Rome, yeah.
Interesting.
You know, you could have like a bit of a match.
That's when real conversations start to happen on Amen.
Huh? Well, no, he'll find them. Trust.
He gonna
he'll
get
find
away?
a way. Yeah, you'll never. You can. He'll
Who's
always
guarding
find a way.
Şengün?
Huh?
If
Well, you
Davis-
have to sacrifice something.
Rui
You know,
on Shengun.
Shit, they put Rui on the Joker
He'll
at one
dominate.
time.
Hate
it.
Yeah.
LeBron on Sengun. What's happening there?
He has to
He
go
would
there.
dominate
That's the only
him
way
right
he's
now.
good defensively.
Dominate
he
him.
would dominate
If
him.
you want a one-on-one
Yes.
game in the post, not a chance. Dominate.
He would dominate him.
You see what LeBron
Yes.
did to Jokic in the
LeBron
Olympics?
don't even play defense no more. I'll play
Hey, playing
Şengün.
post defense is very easy
That's
to play.
what I'm saying.
He could just
So
use
much
his
easier.
strength. He's
Yeah,
still
'cause
strong
if
as shit.
Sengun's not
All
going,
he can do is just post
Hey,
him up.
literally, that's-
Şengün just gonna throw those fucking elbows. That's
Yeah.
Those
really
right
hurt.
there.
I know, but
yum yum. He's gonna eat those.
this dude loves to fucking hook, bro.
A team that's in a similar trajectory right now is
not
the
no
Warriors.
similar. We win. This team doesn't.
Well, Draymond's been
it, 2
hurt
games
recently.
ahead?
We're the 5th seed.
Yeah, but I think you're like 2
This
games
is
ahead.
hilarious because they're dead like 2 games ahead.
No, the Warriors
You guys have 2 stars.
they started off the
you
season so
problem.
hot. They were 12-3, and you
games.
know the Warriors.
That's a
They're
difference.
the only
embarrassing.
team in
That is
history
embarrassing for y'all.
to start the season off 12-3 and now be under 500.
That's crazy.
dog shit.
Yeah,
They
the-
were so good to start the year. They
And
were
I
so
think what's
good.
even
How did Steph Curry put it? What, as the kids say, mid.
Yeah. I actually do think it's funny that these teams that have these multiple stars, like
Old
Phoenix,
stars.
like the Lakers, are still sitting right with the Warriors. It's kind of embarrassing on their
We're
part.
not sitting right with the word. We're 3 games ahead of you
Yo,
guys.
when I tell you 3 games could be gone in a week, it could be gone.
not
in
the
a
way
week.
you guys play.
Well, the way you guys play, it ain't gonna be that far.
I don't know.
Well,
We've
I
been
think the
winning a lot
difference
this
right now
month.
is that the Warriors have shown no willingness to make any
Oh, brother, they
moves.
suck.
They traded for Dennis Schroeder, but Steph Curry, Draymond, and Steve Kerr all sitting in office meetings and saying, "Hey, listen, we can't trade nothing because we can't mortgage the franchise's future down the line." So they are very cognitive of the fact that they don't want to make a desperate move because they don't want to mess over the franchise later on. But I think, like, why wouldn't you
Their
when
future
you have Steph
pieces
Curry?
aren't that good. Like their baby pieces right now are not that good.
It's
Fucking
more
rinse,
so about the
repeat.
picks and the draft and not trading those. But how do you feel about Steph Curry, Draymond, and Steve Kerr basically just coming out and saying, we don't want to make a trade that's desperate because we don't want to be a bad team in the future?
I don't know, because I feel like it's been wishy-washy reporting. Like I feel like they were talking about in the summer, and Steph came out and he was like, I want moves to be made. I want us to compete. Draymond said the same thing, and now they're saying they don't want to mortgage. Like it's very wishy-washy. Listen, I'll say the same thing I said before. You had an opportunity to get Zach Lavine. You had an opportunity to get Paul George. Kind of dodged the bullet there. You had an opportunity to get Lauri Markkanen in the summer. You did not pull the trigger. You actually, outside of other teams, you had an opportunity to make a move and bring in a guy that can be that second punch. I get the whole Zach Lavine injury stuff, but what you was going to be stuck with Kuminga and Pods, like you have to kind of you didn't have to give up a lot. It was going to be Chris Paul, somebody else, and like a first for Zach Lavine. So it wasn't even a crazy ass deal. So you had your opportunity, and now you're sitting here at 21 and 22 or something like that. You're like the 11th seed. You're 3 games back from the 5th, and Draymond Green's hurt. Jonathan Kuminga's hurt. You're one of your 2 of your 5 best players. Wiggins is playing really well, so that's one of the few bright spots. Steph has knee tendonitis, so he's all banged up and
Say
fucked
good
up.
night.
Yeah, so it's pretty much, I get it. Like you don't want to like same thing with the Lakers. You don't want to ruin the future and the possible And because Steph Curry's also been talking about retirement. You know, he's also been talking about the end and how I feel like if Steph goes, Dre goes. And I feel like along with Dre, Steve Kerr go. Like, I feel like they'll all go at the same time. So you need a next step for, you know, the future. And I also think that's why they're hesitant to pay Kuminga. Because do you want to attach $40 million a year to a player and him be the driving force of your team, or do you just want to start fresh, you know? So I kind of get it. At the same time, I do think you owe it to Steph to actually give it a chance. And I think you gave it a little bit of chance against Schroeder. I think they've been in calls to try to get Vucevic, so they're still trying to make a similar play. But you owe it to him to at least give it a chance. But I understand both sides. You know, I think at this point the Warriors are not good, and you kind of have an opportunity to get a high pick in this draft. Maybe you go get Cooper Flag. That'd be fucking lit. But you have an opportunity to get a high pick in this draft, bring in another star, try to, just try to rebuild off that. You don't want to mortgage any more future picks for players that are either older of age or they're attached to a long contract. So I get it.
We saw the last time that you guys had a high pick.
Didn't work out.
Who?
Guy's not even on the team anymore. James Wiseman.
Oh, the last pick was Kuminga.
No, I'm saying a high pick.
Kuminga was seven.
Yeah.
No.
Both were
But I
high,
know what you
but
mean.
you know,
Two,
Wiseman was
yeah,
second overall
or
pick.
three, yeah.
I mean, they
I'm
whiffed on
sorry.
that.
I just think top 10.
Remember
I think
when
top-
Bob Myers just like resigned from the Warriors?
Yeah, he's on.
Well, I think
He's
that's
on ESPN now.
I think that's
Just a
part of it.
countdown.
I think part of why Mike Dunleavy took over, which we've discussed in the past, is you don't want to have as much of an emotional connection, right? You don't want to have GM like Bob Myers who helped build this. You had a dynasty. You thought Mike Dunleavy, and to his credit, up until this point, like you were trying to take some of the emotional aspect away from it, where Riv's right, and I agree with you. Like, you do owe it to Steph Curry, right? Like, beyond just winning, what he's done for the NBA, what he's done for your organization, completely changed what we think of the Warriors, right? Like, shout out to LeBron for what he's done, but like, he's been with the Lakers for 4 years, right? Like, it's not like he completely changed what the Lakers were, right? He's the Lakers are still the Lakers. But I'm saying they still would have been regarded as the Lakers, for better or for worse.
Dog shit.
But they would still be viewed as the Lakers. The Warriors were
know, man.
nothing before
It's
Steph.
not a comparison, brother.
What
You're
the
good.
fuck
You're
were the
good.
Warriors?
It's not a
Exactly.
comparison.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
talking
of course,
$1 billion organization.
of course.
regardless, though,
I understand your standpoint.
the Warriors are still in a similar situation to the Lakers, that I don't see a move out there that's going to be making them a championship contender. And if you don't have a move to make you a championship contender, what's really the point to go get a Nikola Vucevic? So you're like, instead of the 11 seed, maybe you sneak into the play-in, and now you got to play OKC round one, and
I
now
think
you
that's
get.
really all they want. Just remain competitive.
But that's the worst. Like, the worst thing to be is competitive. That's why, I mean, the Bulls are basically the epitome of that, where it's like, you know what? Like, we're going to go out there. We're going to try to win. Like, we have, we got good talent. We were in the play-in last year. We're going to run it back, because we're the Bulls.
Two-part question is, number one, is there any way that Steph Curry and Draymond Green just retire out of nowhere? After the season ends, they know that next year they can't compete, and they're just like, you know what? I don't even see a reason to play next year.
I don't think Steph would ever do that. I think he'll
You don't
definitely.
think he wants to tour?
I think he'll
know if he'll
definitely
tour.
give it a. This is my last year. Like, he'll give us a no. Draymond is very much in the mind of he has that vibe where he could just say, "Nah, I'm done."
Number two is Steph Curry even tradable? I know that sounds crazy, but look at the teams that need a point guard.
He can play
There
the
aren't
tip, bro.
that many teams that need a point guard, and there aren't that many teams that cap space wise they can even match the contracts to go get Steph.
That's the bigger issue.
Or that it makes sense.
How much he plays? He gets.
He's getting 60.
It's an insane
Impossible.
contract.
Nah,
It's insane.
Houston could do it.
But would it make sense for them?
I mean, he'll retire in a year, so they get the money back.
He wouldn't retire in a year if he's going to
And
a
I don't
team
think
he's
that the
gonna
Warriors
win.
would trade with the Rockets.
No, I don't think he's get traded. So I don't even think the conversation. It wouldn't make sense. Like, I don't think Steph would get traded or be traded. Like $60 million.
I think
Heart to the
that's what they
franchise.
realize, though. Steph is amazing. We don't have the team to compete at a high level. What can we really do that isn't going to tank our future and can try and build a contender around him? There's not really great free agents on the market available
Don't
for
have
us. We don't really have money to spend like that. We're really handcuffed. I think the best case for us to do is hope that Steph can be good enough to try and make the playoffs, make the play-in, try and do his best. Like they didn't. I think 2022 they did a great job of putting great talent around him. But at the same time, was this an overwhelmingly great team in 2022?
So much better than this team, though.
No, by far.
I think
but
you think
I think
more-
you understand my point.
This is more like the 2021 team. But Steph isn't the same guy in 2020.
Agree.
Can Steph still be the number one player on the championship team to you?
I think 1B.
I said it before the season. I agree with this. Can he be the one? I don't think so. And that's not a bad thing.
Like you put him on the Rockets, can they compete for a championship?
Yeah.
Can they compete for a championship?
Yeah.
I think they can compete for a championship.
It's a great defense around him. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Is that better than a healthy Mavericks or OKC?
I think
It's close.
It'd be a good series.
It'll give them a better chance than what they have now.
I think so.
I think, like,
and
that
I think
puts-
Steph would get everything
But
in motion
also
for the Rockets.
with the Rockets, you don't. I don't know if you have a 1A. You don't. We
But
know
I
you
think
don't have a 1A.
that opens up the floor just for everybody.
Yeah, it makes offense easier for sure.
Because they're already, like, you put Steph with Houston, now you're thinking, all right, we got wing defenders around him. We got guys that can cut. We got guys that can move the ball. Like, yeah, that gives us a much better chance than what we have right now.
What's the
That's like
package
the-
to get Steph, though, if you're the
It would be
Rockets?
Fred VanVleet and then
Dylan Brooks.
another
Picks.
contract.
I forget that they make up
Cam
60
Whitmore, maybe?
M's.
They make 60.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it,
so they realistically could do it if they really wanted to.
Fred make up 40.
That is.
That's right there.
But I
Fred
just
has
think
been huge for them this year, though.
with their rivalry, I don't
Obviously,
think they'd
Steph
ever
Curry
deal with
traded,
each
no
other.
doubt, but
Yeah, they wouldn't. Like,
No.
teams
Especially
like,
to that magnitude.
Yeah, like, it's only a few teams, like, that would help. Like,
Magic
Houston,
would be
yeah.
dope.
Magic
I feel like
would be
the
dope.
Magic would be the perfect spot for
Yeah.
Steph.
What would you have
if
to
they're
give him?
healthy.
You got to throw up KCP
Anthony Black, Jonathan Isaac.
and KCP. Yeah,
And it could be KCP. You could keep them. It could be Jonathan Isaac,
25,
Anthony Black,
8.
and one more player that's making a lot of money on their
I
team.
know Gary's making about 12.
KCP? Did you say that already?
Might have
Wagner's
to.
making 11. You might just send 5 guys.
Yeah. I mean, like, oh, Mo.
Yeah, Mobile. He's making about 11. I wouldn't hate Orlando.
Yeah,
Plus
Orlando
you do it in the
is-
East.
I tried to get Lavine to Orlando. It's hard. It's hard to do it.
Nah, just Isaac and how much?
Are we giving up Isaac?
Oh, so
You have
okay,
to.
so what
But
did
that's
be
what I'm saying.
KCP?
Do we want to give him up?
The
Yeah,
three
Steph Curry.
players that make up the
Steph is-
contract, because Steph is making $60 million next year, but I think this year he's at $40 million. So it would be Jonathan Isaac, Cole Anthony, and Anthony Black. That would be enough to
He's
make up the
making
contracts.
40.
Listen,
LA?
you put Steph on Orlando, cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a fun team.
I think Steph Curry with Paulo, with Franz, with KCP, with Jalen Suggs, with
Would it
Wendell
look
Carter.
right?
He won't look right in any other jersey.
He'll never look right in
Never.
nothing else.
I don't know, bro. Him in a Knicks uniform would be fire.
I could see him in a Knicks jersey.
I could see him in a Knicks jersey
It's a
for
shame.
sure.
He's supposed to get
Knicks
drafted
don't want
there.
him.
Him in anything other than Golden State,
It's gonna look weird.
dreadful. It's like Dirk in anything other than Dallas or Tim Duncan.
So
in anything
if
other than
that's
San
the
Antonio.
case, I'm sure basketball purists really want to see him set into the sunset with the Golden State Warriors. Then don't even have this conversation. Appreciate the unbelievable years that the Golden State Warriors gave. Understand that Steph Curry's one of, if not the best point guards to ever play this game. The time's done.
It just seems like they're just kind of wasting him because even when Dirk was older, they tried. Like they got Monte Ellis, and that was at the time
See?
a good move.
But the Lakers tried with Nash, with Dwight. They ended up failing.
At least they made the playoffs. Kobe got hurt too.
They did.
Unfortunately.
They
Yeah,
did. But
and
you
Dwight
but
had a shoulder
You
injury.
understand what I mean there. It's you have an older guy,
But there's the thing, like
got in a roster.
they tried with stars. Like I think that's where Golden State fans are upset because you're not trying to get another star with him. Nobody's asking you to go get a fucking Anthony Davis or go get a Kevin Durant. No, they're just asking for you to pair Steph with a. Steph hasn't had a legit star in some time.
I think we've gotten to that because we were now asking for the Lauri Markkanens, but Pascal Siakam, you didn't ideally want.
No, I
See,
didn't
but
think
you
he. I
understand
didn't
what I
think
mean
he. I
there?
didn't think he fit Golden State. I wanted Zach. I thought Zach
I'm
fit
with you.
perfectly.
I think
with
Zach
Golden
still
State.
could work
Like yeah,
out.
Zach was a low end star, but he fits exactly what Golden State
I
wants.
think the Warriors fans just look back at
went
this
for Buddy Hield.
timeline, and they
Nuts,
just try to merge timelines. You know, they
that was
had
also the fuck
the
up.
second overall pick. They had lottery picks with Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga.
That's what I missed on those
And,
picks.
Yeah, instead of trading them to get an established player,
They never did.
They just
never.
they kept them and they didn't develop them
That
right.
second overall pick should have been hauled. Hindsight's so crystal clear 2020. I still think they should have took LaMelo. It is what it is. However,
I mean, there's so many players like DeAndre Hunter would be better than what they had.
I mean, they got nothing.
they had exactly. They have a guy that's.
I don't. The
Some
only person
Pistons
I
still?
give grace
Some-
to is
he's
Moses Moody.
He's injured
He's-
now.
He's out. He's on the Pacers. He got.
he went to the Pacers,
He's out
right.
for the year.
Say?
The only person I give grace to is Moses Moody.
because he doesn't even get
He
burned.
doesn't get an opportunity.
I think
And
about it.
Kuminga's not. Kuminga was the hit out of the three,
Yeah.
right? But when you look back on it, it's like
He doesn't even
still
fit
could
like
have been.
the roster.
Kuminga's a good ball player.
He was the
though. I
Ross.
still will say he's a good
They
ball
knew
player.
what they were doing.
Like
when
if
they
you think
drafted him.
about it, if they actually drafted like the right players and didn't bank on like potential, because I think that's what they did with the picks outside of Moses Moody for the most part.
Well, he was 19.
Jonathan Kuminga, like you draft Franz Wagner instead of him. This looks a lot different.
They drafted to prepare for life without the stuff.
You draft
which is
Shengun
insane.
instead of Moses
And they
Moody.
just did like 5
things
years
look a lot
early.
different.
Yeah,
That's
they-
the
they-
issue.
they
Like if
dra-
Steph was going to retire the next year,
But they
next
also
2 years-
remember that summer they didn't think they would win the chip. Like that summer when they drafted Kuminga and they drafted Moody, they didn't even believe in the team to win the chip. They
Like
just thought they'd be a
Moses Moody,
competitive
he was
team.
drafted ahead of Shengun, Trey Murphy,
Also Shengun.
Herb Jones, Jalen Johnson.
But Herb
Hindsight.
Jones, to be fair, nobody knew.
Yeah, but Jalen Johnson and
Yeah, hindsight.
that
to
he
go
would
for
be
Herb
there.
Jones
That's
was
what I
nuts.
mean.
he went within those picks. I think he was the 19th pick in the draft.
Who?
Jalen Johnson.
Yes, but Herb Jones
Herb
going
Jones
all the way
was
that back.
literally
Trey
five
Murphy
years.
was a 17th
That's
pick.
valid. Herb was like a
Shengun
late.
was the
Wasn't he
16th
pick
pick.
53,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that?
Trey got traded though. Remember the
Yeah.
team who drafted didn't even want him.
Yeah, because Zaire Williams was,
He was also another-
the top pick for the
Zaire.
Grizzlies. No, but yeah, the Warriors had like chances to draft
sure,
like
for
the
sure,
right
for sure.
players.
Josh
They just
Primo
didn't
got
draft
drafted over Sengun.
But it makes you think, even if you drafted the
San
right
Antonio's
players,
still
like
fine.
is Franz Wagner what Franz is now? Is Şengün what Şengün is now? Like obviously the talent is still better, but it's hard to merge timelines. Like you don't really see a team that has vets ready to compete for a championship while also developing these young players in just a smooth process. So even if they hit on those picks, outside of like Herb Jones is like this elite role player and like doesn't really need the ball in
He'd
his
have been
hands.
fucking
But
lit.
like Şengün and Franz, I don't know if it would have been who they are now.
So man, Shengun would have been different with the
Hey,
Warriors.
listen, if y'all notice, you don't see me complain too much about Golden State games. My pressure is low. I'm vibing. You gotta
He won
just
multiple
you know when it's over.
championships.
Yeah, you know when it's over.
I don't enjoy watching Lakers basketball.
Just 'cause
I
you still
literally
think you
get
have a
paid.
chance.
I mean, you see that man? You see what he's done
I
for
know
me?
it's over, dude. It's like, dude, this team sucks. But I'm here for the vibes, though. Like Wiggins is back.
That-
I love
that's
every bit
huge.
of it.
That's
I love
huge.
Every bit of it.
it just kills me when I watch the Lakers and it's games that we should win and we just have no energy. We have no heart.
I think what sucks the most is the Jordan Poole situation.
That hurt me.
I think things look a lot different. Maybe not right now.
That's
but-
only in hindsight.
Not really, because
We
when
didn't
he got
talk about it
he
at all
played,
last
he
year.
played well when he got punched in the face that year.
No. That year he hooped.
And then he was asked
I'm just
one year,
saying,
and he was great this
after he
year.
got
Played
traded,
bad.
nobody cared.
He played bad after the punch.
Yeah,
That-
the
that-
playoffs
that
were
year.
really bad.
That
Yeah, the playoffs
messed
was
up
terrible.
the entire vibe.
The playoffs, he was bad, but then the next year when he got traded, he was not a good basketball player.
He's
He
building
was
this-
dealing with a lot of
It was a
emotional.
clown show in
It's
Washington
tough.
as a
Yeah.
whole.
I mean, you go from the Warriors,
But
one
he's
of the
only
best
had
run
one
organizations
bad
to
year
Washington.
in the last 4 years.
Say it one more time.
He's only had one bad year in the last 4 years.
I agree.
Yeah,
he
so-
had a bad playoff into a bad year.
Yeah.
So nobody really was on Jordan Poole's side. No one. This year, he's back. And we give him acknowledgement. He's definitely put time and effort into his game this year. Fair enough. But that wasn't the conversation right after. It's only now that he's hooping again that we're like, man.
But here's where you got to be
that
fair
could've
to
been
Jordan
better.
Poole.
That year,
I
remember,
feel
he
like-
was starting when Steph got hurt that year. He got punched in the face. Jordan Poole was starting.
Why are these conversations coming back up is what I'm saying. Because he's
playing
hooping.
well, but I
That's
also
it.
feel like Draymond Green's punch took a mental toll
on
on
the
him,
locker room.
and that's why he played
don't
poorly
disagree.
and he was
He
inconsistent.
also, he
every
hasn't
year.
really gotten better.
I'll go out here and punch.
He's the
I'll
same
go out here
player.
and punch Riv in the face. We're gonna
Yo,
come
what?
back to the podcast tomorrow and be like, "Oh yeah, everything's
you won't
good."
Make it back.
Fucking guy.
You won't make.
That's
I'll
what,
be
like,
damned
it
if I
don't
come
it
up
don't
here.
matter if we got fucking everything, the best producers, the best everything. Like it's still there's
gonna be
I
beef.
just
it's
think
wrong.
it's
Yeah.
it's very telling that everybody on the team had no problem with Jordan Poole. Everybody, Wiggins was cool
Draymond
with
is-
him.
it's
Clay was
Draymond,
cool with
you know
him.
what I
Steph
mean?
was
Like-
cool with him. Draymond was the only person that
Draymond
had a
said he
problem
called
with him.
him a bitch.
Let me ask you a question. Was Steph cool with Jordan?
He wrote
That
him
was
with the
Lil Bro.
bypass.
I only say that for the fact of like
a
on
hater.
the court. Was Steph the biggest fan of Jordan
No,
Poole's
when he
actions?
does the dumb shit. No,
yeah.
no.
That's all I mean.
But
the
that
thing
was
is,
little bro.
those- especially that
was
year
Lil
they won
Bro.
it's
the
like
chip.
off the court, I'm sure they're bros, but on the court, Jordan Poole definitely had some moments where he would.
But
do
he had
some
so
dumb
many
shit.
good, especially when they went to the chip and they won, bro. He had so
Steph
many
Curry
good
got
moments.
ejected because of Jordan Poole.
Yeah, I mean, they all hated. Jordan Poole was like the dumb little brother. They all hated when he did some dumb shit at the end of the game.
But he did so much fucking.
Yeah, they
they
loved-
would have
they
won a
loved
chip
Poole.
without
Yeah,
him.
Draymond
You know what I mean? Like,
and Jordan Poole, I think, had the real toxic relationship. Like they just were not able to be around each other, kind of thing. I think Steph and they all got along, and I just think that year it made it so weird because Jordan Poole is cool with Clay and he's cool with Steph, but Draymond is cooler with them than he is. And Jordan Poole is with
and
them.
the video getting out made it even worse. Like
Yeah.
the fact that
Definitely
you
see
could
Jordan
see
hit
that
the
shit
fuck-
get
I would love to know
cracked.
who's dropped that vid, man.
Nah, they should have gotten fired immediately.
Didn't TMZ like pay somebody for it? I think it was something like that.
That's
yeah,
wicked.
nah, Jordan,
did Jordan
Jordan
dirty.
dropped immediately. It was kind of nuts.
I mean,
he
Draymond
dropped
yeah,
immediately,
you know what
dude.
I mean?
It was like
I dropped
immediately,
too.
bro.
I hate that for him.
Yeah, I do too. Like, it was an immediate drop.
Like,
He's
man-
6'7" force, coming at you.
Just a straight.
Like
Like
man
that
to man,
much.
like
Yeah.
I hate that for Jordan.
Dre probably said, he probably was just like, you bugging. Boom. And he just dropped. It was like,
With that much size coming towards you, it's gonna take you, by surprise.
You think if that video never came out, we would have known about it?
hell no.
Yes.
That would have kept it under wraps. You think?
It would have just been like,
it would have gotten leaked eventually?
because you got to remember,
Somehow, some way.
before the video, they was already making reports about how Draymond was getting aggravated because the young kids came back to training camp and they had the big heads and they was a little bit excited.
He
And
was
Jordan,
hating.
Jordan Poole had
was in
every
training
right
camp.
to do that.
Jordan Poole was in training camp, fake wilding, like doing a little too much. Dre just the one that, oh wow, Dre just the one dude who like, nah, I ain't hearing that. I ain't doing that. So it's cool though.
I think even if the video didn't get out, it would have still ruined the season for them.
Yeah, I'm just
I
saying the
think-
media probably
yeah.
wouldn't have known, but in the locker room, you can't hide that.
Yeah, that tension is gonna
That
be
season
there.
was a movie at home. It was on the road, but at home, team was lit.
The Rockets beat the Cavaliers, and Amen Thompson was a star of the show. He is second this season in 15 and 15 games, which is 15 points, 15 rebounds amongst non-centers. And is he the most unique player in the NBA? I feel like when we watch the Rockets, Alperen Sengun right now is the best player on the team. We know that, and he's awesome.
We know that?
Yes, we do know that.
We know that?
In terms of the ceiling, though, Amen Thompson has a ceiling that
Clears.
we don't know what he can get
Oh,
to,
we know.
but
We know.
the ceiling and trajectory,
Oh,
his
we know.
potential is off
Damn,
the
you're not gonna
charts.
include me in the Rockets,
I
love?
don't know. Do you know?
You know I love the
Talk about Amen.
Rockets.
Do you know though?
Of
You
course
better
I
stop
know.
Because
disrespecting
me and Dehls
Alperen
know the
Sengun.
ceiling. It's
We
limitless.
do.
Stop
There is no
disrespecting
ceiling.
Sengun, man.
Okay, I respect that.
Best in
Huh?
the world.
Stop disrespecting Sengun. You told me last year that Cam Whitmore could be just as good as him.
Did I? Because
No,
I
you
stand
didn't.
on it.
No, you
I
didn't.
don't
But it's
mind
something that
it.
you would say.
Before you
Cam
answer that
Whitmore has been
question,
playing bad. It's not,
He's been
Amen
playing
did it.
good,
Yeah.
though.
does Jalen Green have a ceiling?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his ceiling?
High
30,
high end
30
all-star.
points a game?
High end all-star.
His ceiling is a month of good basketball.
High-end all-star.
He violated. See how
What
respectful
did this
I was?
idiot just say?
I was respectful.
What did this dumbass just say?
He cooked.
No, he cooked?
He cooked
He
you.
cooked and burned the fucking kitchen.
Jalen Green in the last two games is really inefficient.
Agreed.
He's back. He's back.
I'm done with you.
This is what it is.
Nah, he liked to claim for like a cute
No,
little
he
minute.
dead
Jalen-
claimed it. He dead. Yeah, that was crazy. That was
It's
Nah,
just
crazy.
me and Drew on this Jalen Green wave. January JG. You're done.
Jalen has been hooping though, and I'll say this: Houston's a fun ass team, and I like that we collectively watch him, we entertain him. You have your Sengun vibe, you have your JG vibe. Me and Dehls have our Amen
I remember when
vibe.
Sengun outplayed Steph on prime time.
There's a polar bear.
You remember that game
I don't.
where Sengun played amazing?
Listen, they've all been great. They've all
We
been.
watched that game. Sengun really wasn't that amazing.
No,
you
like,
guys are just
like
hating.
Steph was just so bad
I was-
that we just had to pick somebody to be better than
that
him.
amazing.
It actually was nobody playing.
we
good.
were watching a game and we were like,
This
That shit was like 92, 91.
good.
No,
He
that
was
was
posting.
We were watching
Draymond
that. And the
Green.
only thing we
Playback.
kept saying was, "Yo, Steph needs to turn up."
Yeah.
That was it. Like it was nothing
See,
else,
that's the
bro.
problem. You guys were so focused on Steph, you were
no,
missing
that's
the
not even
greatness
true.
of Alperen
No,
Sengun.
we were
we
watching Sengun like,
Yes.
wow, he's doing nothing.
And you
But
want to
he's
know
playing okay.
something else? Alperen Sengun's defense. Talk about that. Very
It's
good
been really
defender.
good. No,
Let's talk about that.
Sengun's been playing really good defense. He's had to. Like you have a team this locked in on defense. You know you need the backline defense to be as into. You need this backline defense to be locked in and be focused. I think the chemistry on this team is the biggest thing for me. I think the fact that this team is so young, the fact that this team just bonds so well, they're able to get along so well, they know where their spots are on the court, and they just play well off each other. Like the energy, they get off each other. You know, the vets leading the charge, the young players seeming more mature in their ways. I mean, Jalen Green talked about it. He said, you know, he's never been on a team like this in his time in Houston, and you can obviously see it. You know, the type of moxie they have in the locker room, the veteran shit, the toughness, the grittiness, and that shout out to Ime too. The valuable insight he brought to this locker room has really uplifted this team. Now we can talk about how young this team is. We could talk about how the ceiling is super high for this team, maybe limitless because they have guys like Amen. They have guys like Cam Whitmore, who's now back in the rotation. He's been playing really well. They have guys like Tari Eason, who defensively, he's really balled in. You know, they have guys like Jalen Green. They have guys like Sengun. So those five guys right there are really young and still trying to figure out their way in this NBA. And then you have the perfect blend of Dylan Brooks, who kind of gives that gritty, toughness that Amen and Tari back up. Then you have Fred VanVleet, who kind of slows the pace down. He gives you that playmaking vibe that you need, that point guard that can orchestrate the offense, that can get you in your sets. So this Houston team is really good. I'm excited to see their progression throughout the season. They played a really good Cavs team last night, who unfortunately is missing Mobley, but they feel like they haven't lost a beat.
Did you see how Amen Thompson took over in the fourth?
Of course.
The last couple
What
minutes.
did you think? I was jerking, brother. This
God.
man was like, bro, Amen.
You didn't get that right away when he was fucking doing this?
Amen is just. I was just so glad I picked up on him early, man. He's just been a gem.
He's really shameless, man.
I was there for OT.
He's shameless.
He's been amazing.
You were very early on the 4th overall pick in the draft.
Yeah, I don't mind saying that. Yeah, I very well was. And, I think he's comfortably, separate himself from his brother. I think you can clearly see the differences between him and his brother, and you can see the play. And I think for Amen, like, we joke about it, but literally the ceiling is limitless. We actually don't know what he can be. We don't know whether how well is he going to be as a ball handler. When is the shooting ever going to adjust? How physically, he's still not physically mature yet. So we really don't know what this guy can be. And right now, the way he's playing at an amazing level that's complementing the stars of this team in Sengun and Jalen Green. So I'm excited to see them come playoff time. And they've already have good wins against the Cavs last night. They beat the Grizzlies 3 times in some really tough,
Haven't
gritty
they beaten
games.
OKC too?
They beat OKC in a tough game. Like, they've beaten some really good teams, and they've showed their moxie in games. And, last night, if it wasn't for DG choking, the Cavs probably win that game. But credit to Houston.
But Amen
He's been amazing in
Thompson,
the clutch.
he had some steals late in the clutch. And before the Cavs game, he was shooting 77% at the rim. Now it's 73%. He's an elite finisher already. Like, if he can round out the other parts of his game, we're talking about, like, a very dangerous player moving forward.
What is it that he's missing exactly?
Just
a
a
consistent
shooting. That's
ball.
Shooting.
I think consistent ball handling ability.
I don't disagree with this. I
just feel like his feel is amazing already. Like, he has a feel for when to cut. He has a feel in transition. As a defender, forget about it. Like,
Instincts are there.
the only player that has really given him fits recently has been Cade.
It was Tyler Hero for a game.
Yeah, you're right. And
Tyler
Hero.
Hero definitely got him so bad that Amy wanted to put
Heroes
hands
been
on
giving
him.
a lot of
Cade
guys
fucked
fits
him.
this year, though.
But look at
Cade fucked
yeah,
fire
yeah.
at him.
But look at oh my goodness.
Brother, no. That game, third quarter, Cade fucked him, bro. It was bad.
I'm glad you
But look what he
And
did
Cade
to
fucked
Donovan
Dyson
Mitchell.
last night.
He guarded Donovan
kind of
Mitchell.
like Jalen Brunson the other night too. Stop fucking! Don't fucking play with me.
Dyson
Yo,
got
you
fucked
notice
twice.
how he covered up the Knicks jersey?
Damn.
It just hit me.
Damn.
It just hit me.
It's cold down here.
No, he is devious.
You have shorts on.
Riv hates a sweatshirt with shorts. He hates
I really
it.
don't do the shorts sweater vibe. I think it's
Sometimes you just feel colder up top. You know?
okay. I feel that.
Yeah.
Didn't notice you put the sweater on. I'll be honest.
No, yeah.
It just hit me when I talked about Jalen Brunson.
Even when he's about to praise the Knicks,
Bro,
have
that's
a
what
Knicks
I'm
shirt on, they
saying,
can't even get it.
I still have the Knicks shirt on though under this.
Who knows?
You might have changed.
No, I do.
You might have
100%.
nothing on.
You think so? You want to bet?
Show us.
Okay. I have the Knicks
I was
shirt.
praying you were naked.
See, I got the Knicks shirt with Jalen Brunson, distorting 5.
Did you really want to buy that shirt? It was just on a deal.
Oh, the TikTok shop shirts don't cost that much. They're like $25. But yeah, I wanted to buy it. I liked it. It was like, I don't have a lot of Knicks gear that like fits me right now, so I wanted something that fit me.
Do you have more Mahomes gear than Knicks gear?
Yeah, easily.
No.
What?
I have
I haven't seen you in any Knicks here. That's why I think one piece of clothing.
because it doesn't fit me right now.
Okay, my bad,
Yes,
my bad.
yes. I have gained some weight, Dehls. Very come on. So I have 3 Chiefs things. I have the Mahomes jersey, I have the Rolling with Mahomes shirt, and I have the Chiefs shirt that you guys saw. With Knicks stuff, I have a Julius Randle jersey. I have an RJ Barrett jersey.
We can throw those away because
Do they even count?
they don't count.
Now no more. Not no more. I have a John Starks and Patrick Ewing homage
That's
shirt.
fire.
Homage
Fire.
shirt
There you go.
does not fit me though, so I can't wear it right now. This Knicks shirt I just bought. I have a Knicks starter jacket as well.
Tough.
I have a Knicks hoodie upstairs.
Is that your Knicks jacket? Never mind. I remember you had this Atlanta Hawks jacket one time. She was fire.
Yes,
All red.
yes. It's similar to that, but it doesn't have like a hoodie. But yeah, no, I got a lot of Knicks gear. Chris House Porzingis shirt from back in the days. You know,
You don't really wear it.
they don't fit me.
I don't
They
know.
don't fit,
I feel
bro.
like you could still.
This is the
Lay it
only.
out.
This the
We don't
only
even got
thing
a lot
that
of-
fits.
Like you have a
Knicks.
wall. We have the benefit.
We got the number one fan here.
Yes, exactly.
We have
That's
the
about it,
benefit
though.
of a wall. You know, I got D Rose back here. D Rose is never leaving. By the way, you got your boy Caleb.
We're getting
you have
this-
Lamar.
But he's got Mahomes.
For some odd reason, New York has never got on that wall.
That's not true.
We've
That's
never had,
not
but
true.
we haven't had
We-
Celtic stuff up. You know what I mean? This is
We've
his
had
crib,
Julius
though.
Randle
We
jersey
def
on
had
the
a
wall.
Rogers. We def had
Ton of
Rogers
times.
up here. We def had Sauce up there.
Yeah, the Jets.
Yeah.
Not the Knicks.
Oh no, never Knicks.
No, Julius Randle jersey. We've
Julius
had it.
was there for a minute.
A lot
He's
of
right.
times, yeah.
He's right.
On this wall?
No.
During this?
No.
Well, during this setup.
No.
Yeah.
No, we haven't changed the setup.
Okay.
Yeah, these jerseys have been here since 400, I think.
But that's why I got the Knicks
Or
foam
around that.
finger.
You would think as a fan he'd put
Listen,
his Knicks up there.
he gets a pass just for that. I'll be
Aren't
honest.
you
I
a
forgot about
Steph
that.
fan?
Yeah.
Where's your Steph gear?
Where's your? Oh, he does have the Bulls gear. Never mind.
brother? This
He's
is
not a Bulls fan. He said he's not
I'm
no
not.
more.
But this is Derek fucking Rose.
It is Derrick
This
Rose.
cannot move. You know what I'm saying?
You
had a-
retired his jersey before the Bulls.
That ass.
That's real.
That's my brother.
Yeah.
You had a Nets thing up here too.
Yeah.
What Nets
I don't
thing?
think we forgot.
I don't think I've had a Nets thing up
And
here.
you did, yes.
We know,
Wait,
but
the
we
J-
know you
the-
have plenty
the
of Nets
poster?
gear,
Yeah,
brother.
the poster, the Nets poster.
Yeah, I don't even
it
know
is
where
no
that
more.
went.
Shit,
The
no.
Darren,
Oh, we did
the
have
Darren
that.
Williams. That
Hey,
you
New Jersey
punched
Nets
his-
cool though. I'm
right.
fine with that. New Jersey Nets. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we're from New Jersey.
Nah, we don't have a team no more. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it sucks. Outside of the Devils and stuff.
It's corny.
No, but yeah, back
He's
to the
right.
Rockets.
New Jersey
though.
Devils.
They're in Jersey.
They're the only.
I thought they was in New York.
No.
Wow, I gotta catch up.
What
on
gave it away?
Rangers, though.
Gave it away. That they were in New Jersey.
know.
It was the New Jersey Devils.
For real.
I thought it was the New York Devils. I swear to God, bro. I gotta catch up on my hockey.
Nah,
bro.
the hockey it's Islanders and the Rangers.
He's cooking.
Those are
Okay.
two.
Okay. Damn,
Jersey
I thought the
Devils.
Devils was dead over there.
No, but back to the Rockets. You know, Amen Thompson against Donovan Mitchell, he really defended him well. He locked him up, and then
Donovan Mitchell, man.
he made two crucial
Watch Cavs.
plays towards the end of the game.
Yeah,
I'm just
no, that
noticing
game
is all.
Listen, shout to Garland, or maybe not shout out. If he didn't choke that game, we would be talking differently. Because Tari Eason had a really bad foul at the end of that game.
Hey, man.
That ended up being
He
a
had a great
flagrant.
second half.
No, he did. He did.
unfortunate.
He like missed a layup though towards the end, and then he had the flagrant. But Darius Garland was like 2 for 8, I think, from the free throw
Yeah,
line
it was
last
a
night.
bad night.
90% free throw shooter. It was a tough night. But last night's game, like obviously, Amen's been really good. But just talking about the game. Cavs zone defense, they went to it in the second quarter. Maybe it was in the first, but at least I noticed it in the second quarter. It completely stifled the Rockets' offense. I think Jason Timp had some tweet out there. It might have been 15 straight possessions or something like that where they didn't score a field goal. So the Cavs, that's why I worry about the Rockets still in like a playoff setting, because their offense definitely does struggle, or definitely struggles at times. And if you have a team that can, prepare and scheme a 7-game series against them, I do think they're going to have some real trouble. But of course, Cleveland's such a great defensive team, even without Evan Mobley, a great team in general. I'm not surprised, but Amen Thompson, shit, man, I don't know what else there's to say about them. I feel like the confidence he has this year is definitely taking a level up. Part of that has to do with Ime trusting him. Of course, he's getting more, he's in the starting lineup. He's getting more minutes overall. But he's just great. I think you mentioned the feel for the game that he has, and he still doesn't really have the jump shot. It's a lot of just getting downhill and being more athletic than guys and finishing around the rim. That really makes it scary that he has so much raw talent that over time, because he's still, 20 years old, 21 years old,
like that, yeah.
the fact that he's so young and he's this good already that, all defense feels like a lock for him, right? Not an all-star just yet, but
Maybe.
could be flirted about it, right? The way he's been playing this season.
As a starter, his
Still
numbers
NBA
are
third.
really
He's,
good.
he's got 20 and 15 games. We mentioned the 15 and 15 games that he's had. He's really just such a complete player. And if that jump shot ever does come around, we're talking about one of the 10 best players in basketball.
I think
Let's get nasty. Let's get freaky
I
over
think
here.
what's so funny to me, like the evolution of Amen Thompson going from the prospect to now the actual NBA player. We highly regarded him as like this amazing point guard, can handle the ball, can be the best playmaker in his class. And then he comes to the NBA. He's an all-world defender. He can't really shoot the jump shot. We knew that. But his ball handling is not that great.
It's more of a wing.
And his rebounding is elite for his size. He's one of the best rebounders in the league. But also you pair into the fact he's 6'7". It's like you mentioned, Dehls, and like everybody has said, the athleticism that he has is why he is so unique. Because he's 6'7", he really can't shoot the ball that well. And you'd think that in today's modern NBA that really wouldn't bode well for a player. He's just so much more athletic than 99% of the league that he can go out there and he can beat you with his speed, just go right over the top of you and finish over the top because he can jump higher than you. He has great touch around the rim. The only player that is comparable to him, I guess you could argue, is his twin brother, because defensively, Asar is incredible as a defender. I think Asar, the injury obviously kind of took him away from the light and understanding that he is still one of the better defenders. Offensively, it's night and day because, one, you know that Amen can put the ball on the court and he can go downhill and he can attack the rim at such an efficient level. But other than that, we might be looking at the best athlete in the NBA right now. He is that level of athlete. He's that much of a unicorn. I do agree. And inevitably, like we've seen in moments this season with the progression of his three-point shot, as a starter really hasn't been great. I think he's shooting 20% from three as a starter, which isn't great.
Keep taking him.
But 16 and 10, 60% true shooting with not being that great of a three-point shooter, you will take this, especially for the boost he gives you on the defensive side. And you know he's working on his game. We see the difference from last year to this year. It's evident.
Man, getting down transition too. Obviously, going to Houston was just the perfect spot for him. The fact that he has Ime as a coach who's such a defensive mastermind, he's able to put him in a perfect situation to succeed too. Like Asar, I think part of it, of course, first year in Detroit, Monty, it was just a fucking mess. This year, Asar's still been good. It's just Cade is like the star of the show, where like Cade is getting all the buzz. That even though Asar is playing well, Cade's the one getting all of the shine. And although Jalen Green has had stretches this year, Şengün's been playing well overall. It's just Amen's the star of the Rockets team to me.
28 for a month.
So Cade, we in different
Amen
talks
is like
with
a
them two.
juiced up Josh Hart.
I don't hate that comp. It's not rude.
As of
Don't
right
talk
now.
like Josh Hart is mid.
Riv, what if Josh Hart is the most athletic player in the NBA?
I'm just trying. We trying to get places.
There's nothing wrong with Josh Hart's an amazing role player.
I do think. No, yeah, you were right though. It's really just Amen and Asar.
Yeah.
They're like a tier of their own in terms of athlete. Like they're just like his only comparable comparison is literally his twin
what
brother.
are their parents? Are they like they're Olympians? Like what the fuck?
I don't know.
No, they're as good as athletes as Mahomes is a quarterback.
God damn, it didn't have to be about
Why
him.
did he even
Take it out,
come to
man.
You didn't have to say that. Like you didn't have to say
But
that.
I'm comparing them with greatness.
Sure, yeah. I do think Amen's eventually gonna have to play point guard though. I think they're like Houston's plan is Amen, JG if he keeps progressing like this as the backcourt. You know, so you eventually want Amen, and he has point guard skills. Not to say he doesn't, but you're right, Drew. Just to go from ball always in my hand, being the lead guard to now kind of being in that role player vibe, trying to fit around everybody else. We don't see that a lot from young players.
Awesome.
You don't see that a lot from young players in year two.
He just shows his versatility. Like, you can use me in so many different ways. Take that as you
also
will.
IQ of the game, like just having that IQ and that awareness and that instinct to just be like,
Takes dudes years, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Takes
like
shit.
Fucking year two.
Took Andrew Wiggins 6-7 years to realize
He's
I'm
number
a
one
role
overall
player.
pick.
I'm
yeah.
a role player. Yeah.
So, you know, and sometimes it takes these, and he's a freak athlete too in his own right.
For sure.
So I think like guys sometimes, especially for freak athletes that are raw, Kuminga, another one, like it takes some time to figure out those instincts, figure out IQ and where
So
they need to be.
Jaylen Brown, years, bro.
Yeah, like it takes you time. So for Amen, it took him less than a year, I would say, to really just figure it all out. And Asar, he was on that way too. It's just unfortunate, the blood clots and stuff like that. But his rookie year was fine. It's just Monty also was putting him in the corner all day, and it was ridiculous. But Asar was on his way too, and I think he'll get back to that vibe also. But yeah, Houston, it's gonna get dark for the league soon.
In order for you to get one of those top guys, you got to get one of those top picks. And that's something that the Bulls don't put themselves in a position to get year after year because they haven't stuck to a rebuild. Now Zach Lavine,
so many trades.
Nikola Vucevic, those are their two best trade pieces.
They're going to trade them.
What teams make the most sense to trade for Lavine or Vucevic? Drew, you have some trades.
I have 6 trades.
Let's talk about it.
I'll go
for both or
for both. Six total.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 and 3 if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. First trade: Vooch to the Lakers.
of course,
Rui and Jalen Hood-Schifino for Vooch.
just them.
Just them.
Keep going. Let's hear them
Wait,
all
was
out.
Hood-Schifino and who?
Jalen Hood-Schifino and Rui.
Let's hear it out. Let's hear them all out.
Maybe. Probably pick.
2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Need 3.
All
Jalen
right.
Hood-Schifino is nothing.
So that's the first Vooch trade. The next Vooch trade: Gary Payton, Kyle Anderson, Lindy Waters for Vooch.
Sign me up.
Yeah, you do that. I think though that's the type of move that the Warriors need to make.
2 seconds.
Definitely need to throw some seconds for sure.
To the Kings:
Really?
Kevin Huerter and Devin Carter for Vooch.
So Vooch coming off the bench.
Yes.
I don't know if they.
Devin Carter isn't playing well.
No, he is. I don't know if they.
I wouldn't do that.
I think Sacramento needs more of a rim protector.
I'd get more of if I'm gonna get a center, a backup one. I get like Jonas Valanciunas instead.
I get Rob Will. from Sacramento. I think
someone
he fits.
Just because the
It's more
fact that this
opposite
trade
of
can happen,
bonus.
because Kevin Huerter is an asset for a trade. For a trade, he is an asset. All right, so those are my Vooch trades. Of those, which do we like the most?
The Warriors one sticks out to me the most because you're not really moving guys that you're counting on.
And for Chicago, you get to release those guys after this year.
I like the Warriors one because Steph, Schroeder, Wiggins, Draymond, Vucevic. I think that's a good team. I think they can maybe compete a little bit more than what they have to do. Trace Jackson Davis off the bench with Buddy Hield, Kuminga still. I think that's a good team. I like that.
I contemplated putting Kevon Looney in there, but I was like, you're in the business of keeping.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
My brother's a lifer.
Now, for Lavine trades. First one to the Spurs. Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes for Lavine.
If it's Zach Collins instead of Harrison Barnes, I like it.
I feel like Devin Vassell and Zach are redundant.
Okay.
I see
But
what
you
you're
can
saying.
run them at the 2-3 though.
Yeah.
I just
I think
It's
you're also,
redundant, but also
who cares?
I don't.
Right?
I don't think it's redundant to the point it doesn't fit.
If
You know?
listen, if you got to just give up that and maybe one first,
Probably.
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind it.
All right, next trade. Clint Capella and Bogdanovich for Lavine.
No.
I see why, but you're gonna have to pay Jalen Johnson. You kind of have Ricochet.
They already paid him.
Oh, yes,
they
you're right.
didn't.
Pardon. No, they didn't. Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson got
This
paid.
offseason.
Facts.
Yeah.
You're right. My fault. Trey. Zach.
Onyeka's he's the better center of
But
the two by far.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. I don't love it.
I'm in the middle with it.
What's wrong with the trade in your opinion, Joel?
They're building something different than what that identity would be.
Yeah.
You're saying for the Hawks.
I do agree. Like having another guy that could go get a bucket, another guy that can handle the ball is definitely nice. But I agree. What you got right now, what you're building right now, Jalen Johnson.
They're trying to
What you're giving up though is not something that's hurting
But
the
look at the
direction.
lineup. You got Trey Dyson, 6'7". You got Ricochet, 6'8".
They're trying to build this team with defenders and shooters.
And I know Ricochet is a part of the plan for the future.
He's not untouchable. He's not
untouchable.
You're
But I
not
think
good.
for Zach, you can wait. Like, in respect to Zach, love
I
Zach.
only say it because Trae Young and Zach's not the type of guy that needs the ball in his hand to be a dominant player.
No.
I think they'll wait though. I don't think they need to.
Yeah, I don't think exactly. That's
And
not a
also,
move that puts you over the top or puts you in a
And
different tier.
it's not a guaranteed Trey's here.
Like I know Clint
Yeah,
Capella. I think Onyeka is better, but they have a luxury having
Two
double
centers.
bigs.
I don't care.
You know,
I don't disagree.
Not having one of those bigs could changes how you rebound when one of them are off the court. So I like where they're at now, the direction they're building.
Okay,
When'd
that's
you
a
get
good point.
case? Have you had that for a minute?
Yeah, for a
My
little
mom
bit.
got it for me because I think in order to use the MagSafe charger, you need the case in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why.
All right, next trade, last trade I have. To the Grizzlies. Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, John Conchar for Lavine.
Sign me the fuck up.
That gets it done.
I'd nut.
That's pretty much.
Well,
no
is
one
Smart,
you're doing
Conchar, and who?
Smart, Brandon Clark, and
Brandon
Conchar.
Clark.
Respect Brandon Clark.
Side note, why doesn't Jimmy Butler want to go to Memphis?
I don't know.
Who cares? Fuck Jimmy.
It's just you got the report today. Jimmy's open to. Jimmy wants to
keeps coming
leave
out.
Miami, but he just doesn't want to go to Memphis.
Probably because he can't come there and be the big dog. Because John gonna be like, "Fuck you on."
Jaren's going to be like, what the fuck he on?
Maybe it
Jaren's
just
the
feels like the
quietest
Grizzlies
assassin.
are a bit immature. Maybe that's why. That could be.
But it's
But
just
that's
such
also
like
feels
he'd rather go to
redundant.
Utah. You know what I
What,
mean?
Levine?
Bane and Levine.
I get it, but I think
And you still need room for Vince and Gigi.
if you are the Grizzlies, their half court offense has been better this year, but Levine makes your half court offense significantly
I would like
better.
this. Yeah. I would like
And
this.
he can get out and run too, like the rest of the squad.
I think they're more in trying to get a 3-and-D guy. Somebody.
Cam
who can-
Johnson.
Yeah, somebody like that. I don't hate Zach. I just think you already have Bane. You kind of have Jaren ascending into this next new role. You're still trying to figure out Josh's jump shot issues. So you kind of have your three-headed dragon. Zach comes in. Where does he fit
This
in?
is a stacking the deck type move, though, you could argue.
Yeah, but I don't think Memphis needs to stack
Zach
the
Levine?
deck.
With the four they have. Well, it would be the
I get what
big
he's
four that
saying.
they have.
I do know. I mean, stack the deck.
Yeah, it was looking,
I know. It was
But
strong.
Memphis,
but
I don't
the
think
sentiment's
needs to,
there.
I don't think they need to stack the deck. I need to just feed into their
Amazing
identity.
depth. But does he hurt their identity with the players getting lost?
I don't think so.
Not necessarily.
And Zach's been a part of some great defenses.
I think it makes them a little bit small because Zach starts obviously. So
For sure.
you'd have Ja, you had Zach, you have Desmond Bane, who's a defensive perimeter
Jaren.
player.
And
there.
you want Vince Williams starting eventually. You want Gigi Jackson eventually.
Unless Jalen Wells just continues to play well.
That's also another guy. Now he comes off the bench. He's been playing super well. You need a defender in there. Like, because if Bane, Zach, Jar out there, who's guarding the best player? Wells has been really good at that. So that's not to say it's a bad, but I think they have Bane already. Kind of, unless you
I
trade
like Zach
Bane
Lavine
for
a lot on the Pistons. I feel like if he can go to the Pistons, like that's like a low risk,
Get
high
Cade
reward
another
type
guy,
of deal.
What are we giving up to get him?
Tim
Hardaway Jr., Fontecchio, Isaiah Stewart.
See you later.
Stewart's been good.
We could do it.
Yeah, but
Or Duran.
No, he has to stay even though you don't like him. He
He's
has
been
to stay.
ass.
He has been.
No, wait.
You have to trust that he's young.
What the fuck?
He's young. He's in like
Brother,
year
brother.
3.
Brother, he's been ass.
He has been.
Where's the progression?
Can you just give him some time?
How long?
Like,
we
bro,
giving?
you know what it is? The Pistons are nice now. He's
He's
getting
been
caught
ass
left behind.
Catch up.
I fucked up.
Look,
I wasn't ready for this
Ivy
season.
was playing well.
He was.
Unfortunate, went down. Cade is ascending to another level.
Demon.
Asar's playing well.
Here.
Duran, hello.
Bro.
we're not asking the world from Duran either.
He's built like Dwight Howard. Brother, hello.
He didn't know that the Pistons were going to be like this year. He fucked up.
Fuck, it's like,
He
hello.
was joke fucking off in the offseason.
Nah,
He's like,
give him some
we're going to
grace.
be
He's
ass.
played good this week.
Okay.
This week.
This week's funny. This week's
but
crazy.
Come on. Can we?
Treat him like a
Cade,
quarterback.
Lavine and Tobias. Where does that big 3 rank?
Tobias isn't getting traded?
No, he's staying.
Oh.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, straight.
I thought he gets a lot of money, so I thought he would be the one.
I like that. I like Detroit because there's no
Tobias.
pressure there.
Yeah, Zach would be dope next to Cade. Feed him off the pick and roll. Just, oh my God, bring
Cade's,
him in.
and you guys still got size because
And
Cade's
you
so
can listen.
damn
You're
big.
sitting at 22-20 or 21-20. Zach helps your playoff chances.
Yeah,
So,
I like that in the Spurs. I feel like them or the Spurs could make one of these moves. I don't know if the Bulls will do it though. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. They're gonna cost themselves a chance of getting one of these top picks.
Yeah, they're just
Because it's a double whammy for them. Since their pick is top 10 protected, it's not just you're missing out on assets, second round picks, maybe a first for Zach Lavine, but you're also potentially missing out on your own draft pick by, number one, being outside the top 10, or if you trade these guys, you'll be even worse. Brooklyn were so fucking good. So fucking good. A 500 team the first couple months. They've made these trades. They lost like 13 of their last 15. That's what Chicago's got to do.
Yeah, they lost Dennis Schroeder,
No, he was fucking
tanked.
balling. He was fantasy.
tweaking,
He was
yeah.
killing on my fantasy.
Yeah, I'm
on the
actually
bench.
gutted he got traded to the Warriors. They've ruined him. It's fucking horrible.
I don't
saw what
fucking
Eric
fucking
Pascal-
play anymore.
Eric Pascal said about Steph.
No.
He basically said when he was a rookie, he was balling. He was playing really well. And then in his second season, when the crew came back, Steve Kerr wanted him to fit alongside Steph, and he just couldn't play with Steph. He just couldn't play with him. And he said, Steve Kerr, just get me off the bench because I can't play with Steph. Like, I need my buckets. I need my touches. And he was just basically saying it's just hard to play with Steph. You don't get into much of a rhythm.
That's
when
some
you
of
play
the
with Steph.
sorriest
So,
shit I ever heard.
Eric
in my life.
Pascal
worse.
said it. Who else?
Who else did say it? I don't know, but saying I need to get my buckets when you have Steph on your
Like,
team is
bro,
crazy.
what the fuck?
And Clay's
That's
still
probably
there.
not what he said exactly, but that's exactly what he was trying to
Well,
say.
look where you're at and look where Steph's at.
Should have tried harder.
But I think do you think Steph is hard to play with for like players that need more of a rhythm?
I think that's more a Steve Kerr thing
the system,
than Steph. Like,
See, I mean,
Steph, I've
is a
seen
system,
Steph not touch the ball for like the first 5-6 minutes, like of games. So like that's more Steve Kerr. And Steve Kerr has not adjusted the system to anybody. He's played it within Steph.
Wait a
He has
minute.
Clay.
There's been a game where Steph hasn't touched it for
Oh, brother, I've seen this shit too much.
What?
Because Dennis Schroeder has the ball a lot.
Oh.
He likes, Dennis
You're talking
like
this season. I'm
yeah.
like, wait.
No, I mean, last year I saw it sometimes with Potts. Before a year, I used to see it with Poole sometimes. Poole. He got to get his shit up.
He hated
And then
Curry.
Clay sometimes, he got to get his shit up. So sometimes it be, but Steph sometimes will literally chill. Like he'll just, he sees the double, just throw the little dumbass over the head pass, Dre catch it. He'll do that like 4 or 5 times. But that's just dumb, like, because it don't make sense. So
he did play well as a rookie.
Did he? So if
Yeah.
I look it up right now, it'll say he played well.
Yeah, look it up. Look at Eric Pascal stats. That's a rookie.
Let's-
It wasn't everybody.
Define play well.
I think he averaged like 14 points.
Okay, let me
if
give
I'm
you a
not mistaken.
baseline. What was
Yeah.
the efficiency? I'm gonna
I
let
don't
you
think
save
it's too
yourself right now.
36% from 3,
All right,
45% from the field.
all right, bet.
I'll take that.
Take that. I just wanted
As a rookie.
I just
As a
wanted to
rookie,
give yourself
45, 36,
He's an
14
older
a game?
rookie, correct?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Villanova.
I was going to say he did go to Nova.
Yeah.
So 14, you got it right there. Here we go.
Did he get that?
14 points.
That's what he averaged.
Yes, but you were low on the field goal. Low, yeah. You said the low number on the field goal. You were too high on the 3-point percentage. So he was 49% from the field.
Damn.
28% from the 3-point.
Okay, are you sure he didn't shoot well?
That's
Then his
doubtful.
second year, what did he average?
Oh, brother. It didn't get better.
He went in the tank after
He went
that.
from 14 to 10 to 6 out the league.
Damn.
Because he went
Yeah.
to Utah.
His career really went down the drain quickly.
14 points a game as a rookie, though.
That's
Yeah, he
solid.
played well.
I think the team was when D'Lo got traded that
That was
year.
when everybody was hurt.
Oh, brother, that's when you guys got the number 2.
Clay, Steph Curry.
So he was just good on an ass team.
Yeah, listen, I remember that year when
LaMelo
Steph
Ball.
came back
Like
versus
LaMelo
Toronto.
Ball. Oh my god.
It's a great game.
This guy's got no fucking.
Pascal. Where is he playing now?
He's not.
He stays out the league.
I think he plays at open gyms.
It's fucking nerve.
Open gym.
On the
It's hard to
pod,
play with Steph.
Not even overseas.
Get me off the
on
bench.
on the podcast he was on, he looked a little bit overweight. So
Whose podcast?
I don't think he's playing.
Whose podcast?
I forgot. You know,
Did it look
it
blurry?
wasn't like a, and his camera was very bad. It was like a Logitech camera, very blurry and
Damn,
stuff.
he just took a shot at you.
Don't give a fuck.
No, it actually looked worse than Dell's camera when we do digital. It was much.
Your
it was very blurry.
Logitech camera now, though, is fire.
Yeah, so I thought my camera's good now.
Yeah, no, but
He's saying beforehand 'cause
Eric
it was dog shit.
Pascal's
It was
was
the Mac camera. So I mean,
Eric
this shit was
Pascal's
720p.
was very blurry. So I don't know. I don't even know if he plays basketball no more. But yeah,
I haven't
Just
heard his
based off
name.
of his camera quality. He's not getting his bands.
It's not good at podcast either.
Oh, shit.
yeah, no. But I think the one major team we got to talk about, the Denver Nuggets. Very early in the season, they looked like a lost cause. They were in dogfights with one of the worst teams in the NBA on a consistent basis, but they found their footing. Even despite the injuries, like Aaron Gordon being hurt for a majority of the beginning of the season, they found a rhythm now. Julian Strawther's playing well, but I think the main guy we really got to talk about is Russell Westbrook. You know, somebody who's had a lot of dirt thrown on his name, a lot of narratives thrown on his name.
You having a hand in that.
Has not fit the best next to other stars, but when you join the most easy to play with star in the league, and
You
Nikola
just
Jokic,
suddenly remember how to shoot the 3 ball.
Russell Westbrook,
Must be nice.
that's not even the big difference because he is shooting well from
He
corners.
is.
He's shooting, I think, 48%.
Well, just in
from
general,
corner.
he's actually shooting 34% from 3. What did he shoot last year?
Right, like 20.
29.
From the corner, he's shooting 48%. Above the break, he's like below 30%. The major difference in his game is that he's cutting to the basket
Say
more.
he's actually finishing
Elite
well.
level, yeah.
If you look
Yeah,
at
last year he didn't finish well.
if
at
you
all.
No.
his career high before this season on like his cuts percentage, the percentage of possessions that he cut to the basket, his career high was 3.7. With the Nuggets this year, it's at 9%. 1 out of 10 possessions, he's basically cut into the basket, and Jokic is finding him on that 2-man game, and he's having a resurgence right now. Like Russell Westbrook looks really good, and this Nuggets team, they look really good too. Like they're finding something right now with what they got. And Jamal Murray's been able to take a step back and be more of a 2-guard when Russ has started.
Starting to figure out slowly but surely. But I think the biggest thing for me looking at the Nuggets and looking at the numbers too is they play with pace. They're right now fit. They play at the fifth quickest pace in the association. And a lot of that has to do with him. He's the type of guy that has the high motor, wants to get the ball and move down the court. But you look at Jokic too. Jokic is the guy that's throwing the outlet pass. He's trying to get the easy transition bucket. The fact that you have 2 of them on the court, essentially a majority of the time, the entire game, that really bodes well into getting easy looks. Now, when you look at it, and you already alluded to it, what has been so essential and crucial to his resurgence, on top of the fact that, yeah, he's shooting the 3 ball a lot better, is the fact that he's getting to the bucket and he's finishing efficiently. That also has to do in part with, obviously, the attention that Nikola Jokic does draw, and it's clear he's still the best player in the world, but Russ being willing to adjust his game yet again to another situation for a new, entirely different role, but not one that he's not comfortable with too, because he does have responsibility on the ball. What also has been great about his game is his defense. His impact on the defensive side, just how active and engaged he is at all times. It's helping what the Nuggets defense, which isn't that great, he's going to shine. But really what's been so great for them has been their offense. And while Jamal Murray hasn't been the most consistent, most efficient version of himself, Russell Westbrook, you look at all the lineups that the Nuggets go out and throw out there, you'll look at the best of them, every single one of them that's great has Russell Westbrook's name attached to it. He's been incredible for them, a nice energy boost for them. And again, when you have that high level of a motor, it's hard to take you out of games and hard to take that drive out of you when you really just nonstop are on go. But when you're playing at this level, it makes it a lot easier for people to gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
Jokic said this about him, Riv. I want you to react to this quote. Jokic said this: I love the connection we have because just by looking at him, he knows exactly what I'm thinking. He's a great player. The teams he played for didn't understand him and didn't give him the opportunity to be himself.
Sounds
Damn.
like when you're in a room with your girlfriend, you give her that look like, you know, it's
time.
It's time.
You think
for
he's
that.
sending shots?
Does it sound like a shot?
Could be.
I'll let you. Oh, not doing
The
that.
thing is, the easy shots at the Lakers, throw the shot at the Clippers then.
I think he worked fine with the Clippers.
I mean, he also wasn't good last year.
He just wasn't good. I think that's the difference.
No, I don't think he was himself with the Clippers last year. You know, because
He played
you got to
defense
think about
with the
it. He
Clippers.
was the point guard. Then James Harden got traded there. He had to take a role off the bench. You know, I don't really think he played like himself.
He played defense last year for the Clippers.
No,
I
he
thought-
did.
Can I
thought
say
that
also
was-
last part? I want to say what's the reason the Nuggets have been so great. You have Russell Westbrook, who has been known to be this turnover machine, and there's games where he is. Right now, they're second in assist to turnover ratio, and right now I believe they're 12th in turnover percentage. They take care of the ball. That's also in due part. Nikola Jokic is one of the greatest playmakers of all time. But Russell Westbrook is also playing a hand in how great they are, not just in transition, but in a half court.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is Westbrook is showing how valuable he can be in a potential playoff series. I mean, you have to, when you go into a playoff game, if you cannot shoot the three ball, you have to find a way to be impactful on the offensive end of the floor. And what Westbrook is doing, being able to cut, being in the right positions for Joker to hit him, being able to up the pace, being able to, move the ball and create open looks for these, maybe, I won't say shooters, but guys that, can hit the three ball and being able to get them out in transition. He's making himself look much more favorable in the playoff series. Because what has been the problem for Westbrook in the past? It's never really been about the regular season for Westbrook. It's been about the playoffs and how sometimes he becomes unplayable because of his lack of a jumper or his very poor decision making in, key situations where in the playoff game, there's a lot more nuances to it. You don't get the same margin for error as you do in an 82-game season, and Westbrook in the playoffs sometimes tends to make those bad decisions. So now you're playing with the best player in the world. So those moments where you have to make those key decisions, they don't really go on you now. They really go to the Joker, and the Joker, we can all agree, is one of the best in the game at that, making timely decisions in the clutch, in the playoffs. That's the guy. So now you're playing off of him. He tells you where to go. Your main job is to just finish the play. And Westbrook has shown that this year, that he's been finishing at a higher rate. I think last year, for me, watching a shit ton of Clippers games, I think the problem for him was he was terrible in the finishing department. Like, he just could not finish. Like, it was layups he used to be able to convincingly make. He was just missing. The jumper was completely gone. So he was realistically a negative offensive player, but defensively, he gave you that effort. So you have to, he gives you that energy that's kind of infectious, and it goes throughout all the teammates, so you have to keep him on the floor. And I think for Denver, that's been that. Now, I do feel like Westbrook did get some slack with the Lakers. At the same time, you got to kind of put it on him too. Like, he didn't really adjust his game with LeBron and AD, but they didn't adjust. It was just a weird, we all knew it was a funky ass fit. We all knew the fit was always going to be wacky. I don't put it all on Westbrook, but I don't put it all on the Lakers too. So I think, he's just in the right place right now, and I think he's happy. You can see it. The Joker wanted him this summer for a reason.
Shout out to Yoke.
Yep.
He knew.
He did. We were talking shit on him.
GM.
Let GM is Yoke GM, baby.
GM.
We were talking. Well, I was saying how his big thing was, hey, go get me Russ. That's really what I want. I'm sorry. You got it.
Denver to me is a sleeping giant. The way they've been playing recently.
You scared him?
Aaron Gordon. I mean, I think everyone should be scared of them. I think
you though.
Jokic's the best in the world.
I'm just asking.
I think everyone should be scared of them, though.
Now, did you not see the breakdown that he had on the TL yesterday? No. You didn't?
No.
Bro, he was basically saying it's done. We're not winning. We're not winning
Dude,
this
they've been
year.
so
It's
ass.
over. They
You've
have.
never felt ass. Like, you've never had ass moments throughout the season. It's like
Not
Last
What do
year,
they
no.
have? What do they have? 11 losses.
Who?
The Celtics.
No. We're
20-10, right?
oh shit. Do we actually? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know
like
we're
they don't lose.
nah, because we're 14-10 over our last 24.
Bro's hurting because they're over 500.
Bro,
They're 31-13.
31-13.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
I was
brother.
2 off. He is gassing it.
Riv, at the end of November, we were 16-3. We're 14-10 since then. It's not the end of the world, but we got Celtics fans, and I understand why we're talking about the Nuggets, but I understand why people get mad at Celtics fans, right? And I'm gonna talk my shit and be arrogant, Larry this, Larry that, whatever. At the end of the day, I still feel like I'm pretty realistic about Boston, right? Like last year when we lost to the fucking Hawks back to back, when we lost to the Lakers without AD and LeBron, I was like, it's gonna be fine, like whatever, bro, like it's okay. This year, this team just fucks around too much, and maybe it's hangover, whatever. We'll talk about it another day. We'll talk about Denver right now. They're sleeping giants to me, though, because I feel like they've struggled the most this year when Aaron Gordon hasn't been playing. When he's been healthy, they're 15-7. They have been, win percentage-wise, one of the best teams in the NBA. Russell Westbrook obviously had a big part in that, but I feel like we've talked a lot this year about OKC, and deservedly so. Houston, deservedly so. Memphis, deservedly so. And Denver, for the most part, it feels like they're flying under the radar because they've been kind of hovering around the 4 seed. They never went on this like 10-0 stretch where they were playing just out of this world good. Although Jokic has been SGA's MVP, but Jokic, bar for bar, has been just as good, if not better player than SGA.
Like if they
had
had the same seeding, Jokic would be MVP.
Absolutely, yeah. So
I'm with that.
They feel like a sleeping giant to me just because you do have the best player in the world, in my opinion, Nikola Jokic, I think in many people's opinion. Jamal Murray, who has had an up and down season, but I think overall, you have to be encouraged from where he was at the start of the season, maybe at the end of last year's playoffs. And Russell Westbrook, who I definitely shit on, not the only one, but my biggest concern with him, and he hasn't proven it yet, is in a playoff series, when it is 7 games, how are teams going to adjust? Because game to game, when you have 82 games, it's hard to really sit down and game plan for, right? Like, you're going to have your adjustments, but you have back-to-backs. There's just not enough time in the day to really game plan for a specific team when you got 4 games going on during that week. But the fact that he has been such a great off-ball player, the fact that the two-game game has been so elite between Jokic and Russell Westbrook, you have to have all of the hope in the world if you're a Nuggets fan right now that this is going to work in the playoffs. Because up until now, they have given you no reason not to think that. And Nikola Jokic, as dominant as he is in the regular season, goddamn, it feels like he takes it to another level in the playoffs. So if he's doing this right now with all of the injuries they've had, with some of the inconsistent play that they've had, especially from Jamal Murray, they're the sleeping giant out west to me. We can talk about Dallas and the health that they've had. We can talk about OKC. But you're telling me you're going to get a healthy Nuggets team with Russell Westbrook fitting into this offense, one of the best coaches in basketball with Mike Malone. This is a team that nobody's talking about in the grand scheme of things, but I would not be surprised they match up OKC. They could beat OKC. They could beat any team in the West because you have Jokic, and this fit right now with Westbrook has been almost seamless.
The last thing I'll mention is their young players are like, they've all played well.
Yep.
Christian Brown, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, they have all developed in the way that you want them to develop.
Christian Brown's been awesome this season, no doubt.
And Strawther is averaging 10 points and shooting very great from three.
There's a lineup that has, I think it's like 100 possessions, if I'm not mistaken, but they're at a point differential of plus 50. I wonder if that's just a game that they just were out there and they just were dominated.
Plus 50 probably.
it's with Russ, Julian Strawther, I think it is Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, I want to say, and Yoke. 100 possessions
probably
plus 50-point differential. Probably. Yeah. But dude, that I saw, that's the 100th percentile lineup. That one right there.
Yeah, we talked about it, man. Like, this team, the starting 5, we felt we were comfortable with. You know, we felt like Christian Brown would seamlessly fit with this team. It was just about what can they get off the bench, and Westbrook and Strawther have given you that kind of dynamic punch off the bench. Payne Watson, you know, he's still giving you A+ defense, so that's always something you want from him. He's such an energy guy. But for me, Westbrook and Strawther, you know, has really been the glue guys off the bench that kind of what you need to go into a playoff series.
Dude, it's nuts, actually. 114 possessions, which isn't a lot, but it isn't a little. They are at a point differential of plus 50. Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Julian Strawther, Michael Porter Jr., good shit, Nikola Jokic. They're in the 100 percentile in differential, 100 percentile in points per possession, 150 actually. They don't turn the ball over, 7.9%. They're getting offensive rebounds. Their defense is in the 87th percentile, 100 points per possession. This lineup is easily their best, and it's sad because obviously Jamal Murray is not included.
Very analytical. Good analysis right there. Yeah. Okay. Now we can dive in to the NFL portion of the podcast.
Here we go.
Are you excited?
You just got so excited. I thought
what
some news happened.
We've all been waiting for the conference championship games. The season comes down to 4 teams. And let's start with the AFC Championship again. The Bills versus the Chiefs.
Look at this
Let's
guy,
go
bro.
Bills. I hope they win.
Look at this guy.
I just love the fact that this is the fourth playoff matchup between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I do think this is the modern day Brady versus
It just
Manning.
can't be.
These are the best two quarterbacks in the league.
This brother doesn't beat him.
But these are the best two quarterbacks in the league.
Lamar Jackson needs respect.
Dead ass.
Josh Allen is the
thought I'd
second
never
best
say
This is
that.
what
quarterback.
happens when you get fucking Carson on the podcast, man.
Nah, OD. I saw that.
Listen,
Bro,
Josh
brainwashing
Allen,
him.
no, Josh. I thought it. Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the league because he has the playoff track record, and we know how great he is. This is going to be a heavyweight matchup. I cannot wait for this game. Where are you going with?
Where am I going with? This is a stupid question. I'm riding with Buffalo. I ride with Buffalo till the wheels fall off. I ride with the best quarterback in the league. Always has, always will be.
He's not
in
the
my
best
eyes.
quarterback in the league. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Listen, I just feel like, and I've been telling Drew this. I've been trying to get Drew to get on my side.
You have
I
been.
feel like this is the year. I feel like this.
Hope
is
you're right. I swear
this-
I do.
From this offseason to people picking Miami to win the division, people picking the Jets to win the division, to people thinking this
New
team would
England.
fall off. Nobody on God's green earth. For people thinking this team will fall off, to after week 4, this team lost to the Texans, lost to Baltimore, ass whooping fashion. Josh Allen probably had his worst game of his life. You know, people were like, this team isn't good. To then they go on a run. It's just been, to then they go to the Baltimore Ravens game in the playoffs, and people were picking Baltimore, this, that, and the third. Now all full circle in this moment to another clash with the Kansas City Chiefs. The basically Mount Everest, something they got to get over, something that's been kind of in their way for some time, in everybody's way in the AFC, damn near in the league, because this team constantly
Except
keeps
one guy.
winning. Tom Brady?
Joe Burrow. Oh, him too.
Oh,
Two guys.
'cause
Good shit.
It's 1-1.
You
You know,
cooked.
so I
Two
can't really.
goats.
Yeah. So for me, I got Buffalo. Listen, I think they'll be able to run the ball. I think Josh Allen, and I'll say this like I had to say last week, but didn't need him to do it last week. I think he really needs to be Superman in this one. Didn't need to because somebody choked on the other end, so he didn't have
Choked.
to be. Huh? What?
Choked?
Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't choke. He
In the
never
first
had.
half?
He never had the chance.
In the first half, did he choke?
I think.
This
No,
guy's an
you know what? That's my fault. They were always down, and he just kept fucking up.
Why were they
So
down?
Choke was the wrong word, Drew, and that's on me.
Why were they down?
Oh, because some idiot just fumbling the ball.
Some idiot.
You know, threw it over.
Word.
I guess miscommunication.
Who has a better chance of the Hall of
You
Fame
know,
right now? Not Josh's bitch ass.
Matt Ryan had a higher chance. Who
Oh,
cares?
shit.
That's
Yeah,
nonsense.
but no, I got Buffalo, and I think, listen, I'm gonna be of the minority to pick Buffalo, but I just feel like this is the year. I feel like this is the
Easy.
moment right here. You
He's
need
treading.
to stop with that.
He's treading.
I'm just surprised you think you'll be in the minority.
I think I'm gonna be the only guy that picked Buffalo again.
This is going to be a great game.
Every week, I vow.
I understand. Please break it.
I can't. They're not gonna lose.
You picked Baltimore.
I want them to.
You picked
I
Baltimore.
did. And
They
if
fumbled.
Lamar Jackson was a dog, hey, nice.
They fumbled.
They did.
Come on.
It's crazy. Lamar Jackson played so bad, and he choked time and time again. And the Bills won because of what, a drop? Like, they should have dominated them. I mean, Lamar was that bad and choked. That should have been a 30-point win, Riv.
I mean, to be fair, it should have been a 20-point win for Baltimore if somebody hold on to the ball.
He's right. The Bills' defense was
So
not
what
that
gives
good.
what gives you confidence that if they barely beat Baltimore with how terrible Lamar Jackson played, because he was fucking dog shit. Now he's going up against Patrick Mahomes
because
and Arrowhead, and you think they have
wait,
a chance in hell?
Wait, you know what's funny that you say that? I saw on Twitter this morning Josh Allen's numbers versus the Chiefs in the regular season and versus the Chiefs in the playoffs. You know which ones are better?
the playoffs.
The ones in the
Oh.
playoffs. You know how many times he's played in Arrowhead in the playoffs?
Twice?
2 times. You know who shows up in the playoffs in
Josh
Arrowhead?
Allen.
And
Josh fucking Allen.
what's
He didn't
the-
have to show up against because the guy on the other side when he played Baltimore, he didn't really pose a threat to him.
What's
you know
their
what I'm saying?
record?
Against
my
wait,
God.
what's Lamar's record against Josh in the playoffs?
We're not talking
Damn,
about that.
It always ends with this, huh?
He's 0-2.
Oh, he didn't win yet.
And Josh is 0-2 against fucking
0-3.
0-3 against Mahomes.
What the fuck are you giddy about?
He's 0-3.
He's gonna pick the Chiefs. I think.
Well, he has a way out
90%
now because unfortunately somebody couldn't get it done.
No, I
You
got
blew mine. Actually, I'm putting this on him.
Wait, what?
Like we
What'd
needed
you
the
do?
Ravens to win, bro.
I know. What are you gonna do? Mark Andrews. I got Buffalo in this game.
Here we go.
I'm not dapping you.
Oh,
that's
crazy.
Not dapping you.
That's
Not dapping you.
crazy.
You're not gonna disrespect my fucking goal
You
like that and
started
try
this.
to dap.
You
No,
Dehls,
Riv.
Dehls,
I don't want
Dehls.
to hear this.
You first of all, I want the fans to know. Shut up. I want the fans to know. I want the fans to know I'm not a Lamar hater. I actually
not Lamar hater. Not Lamar. You called him. You said he fucking choked.
Shut up.
Only haters say he choked.
Shut up. I told you shut up and let me speak. I want the fans to know I'm not a Lamar hater. What started this hatred was when Dehls told me to my face, and Drew was with me. I'm just gonna hate everybody you like.
He's right.
That's what he said.
He's right.
And then he started.
Time out.
Drew.
Time out.
Let's shut up.
Just
shut up.
No, Joel, let him finish.
Me talk.
Let him finish.
Drew, he started when he started to doing the podcast. Couple episodes. Attack me. Throw little subliminals. Just throw jabs. Jab after jab after jab. And then you know what Joel said? Riff. Just shit on Lamar. Why not? So you know what I decided to do? You know what I decided to do?
It always goes back to this motherfucker,
I decided
man.
to say, you know what? He's been fucking disrespecting me and my people. Fuck it. I'm going to disrespect the shit out of Lamar. And that's what we're here for. So he started this.
So you have the Bills.
I got the Bills. Listen, Riv, I can hate on you all I want.
You do.
That's not going to impact my analysis of the game. You know what I mean? That's never going to sway one way or the other just because I feel a certain way about you, regardless of the fact.
Right.
To me, Buffalo's been the better team all season long. I understand.
Really?
I understand the Chiefs' record. Fucking 2 losses, really 1 loss because Week 18 was all backups. To me, Buffalo's been the better team. I have really not been impressed with Kansas City, as stupid as that sounds, that they could go and beat a team as great as the Buffalo Bills, the way they're playing right now. I think Josh Allen has proven this year to be a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. The numbers in the playoffs also back that up. Right now, the one thing he doesn't have is the record, the wins and losses against Patrick Mahomes. But the numbers say he should have at least one of these goddamn wins. And one thing about me, Riv, that I always stay consistent about.
Ones, man.
Sometimes you're just fucking due. Sometimes you go in there year in and year out and you put up good game after good game, great performance after great performance, and sometimes the football gods just aren't on your
feels
side.
like bad luck, 'cause you
and
said
just,
this with Lamar.
sometimes it feels like you're not on the side. The 13 seconds, whatever the case might be, sometimes shit just isn't on your side.
I don't know.
But this feels like a different team. The way the Buffalo Bills are able to run the ball, they had a 100 percentile rush success rate in the first half of that Ravens game. The second half, shout out to Baltimore, they were able to tighten some things up, but they were able to run the ball. We know what Josh Allen could do with his arms. We know how he can extend plays.
2 touchdowns.
This Buffalo Bills defense was able to force turnovers. Of course, the Lamar Jackson interception wasn't that difficult to get an interception on, but you got the Mark Andrews fumble, got some interceptions. I just don't think this Kansas City Chiefs team, I do not think this is the year they three-peat. This is not the year where they have the complete team.
I believe him.
Offense, defense, O-line, all of this. This is not the time they three-peat. The team is not good enough. I got the Buffalo Bills winning.
Well, listen, to say the team is not good enough, I think that is bizarre. The team is good enough.
Your team, right?
They've won 15 games this season. The team is very well good
What's
enough.
the one loss?
And it's been to the Bills.
The Chiefs
and it's been to the
cannot win the Super
Broncos.
Bowl.
Those been
They
to the
can't.
2 losses this year. Listen, I think when the Bills matched up against the Chiefs early in the season, I finished watching that game film last night, and both of them had major injuries. For the Bills, Matt Milano, Spencer Brown, who he is really the biggest piece for this Bills offense. The rush attack, when Spencer Brown is in there versus when he's not, it's just a different team, and his athleticism, being able to pull, and his strength on outside zones is really crucial to the rush attack. So he's going to play. He didn't play in the first matchup, but for the Chiefs, they didn't have their guys either. They didn't have Jalen Watson playing. They had other injuries too. So I think we're going to get these 2 teams hopefully fully healthy. The Bills right now are kind of scaring me with the injury report because Taylor Rapp is questionable. Christian Benford is in concussion protocol, but he was limited in practice. So who knows if he's going to play. And against KC, they really need those secondary players. And I think a bright spot for the Bills against the Ravens is that Sean McDermott scrapped up his entire defensive philosophy. He didn't play zone. He played man. He blitzed Lamar Jackson. And I do think that the Chiefs don't have scary receivers that really scare you off of having to play zone all the time. They have speedsters, but they can get jammed up on the line, like Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy. They're a little bit lighter. So I think the Bills are going to have a little bit of an advantage there if they're going to be healthy.
They just have to get to him, because you saw in that game when they couldn't get to Lamar, them corners got tired, and Lamar extends plays and the receivers can get open. If they can't get to Mahomes, all that man blitz shit is dead, man.
But here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes is going to do what he's going to do. He's going to play a fantastic game. He's going to manage the clock, and I think this is going to be a battle between 2 quarterbacks trying to out-manage the clock each other because they don't want to give the ball to them with the time running out because whoever gets the ball last is pretty much going to win this
can't
game.
do this 13
That's how I
seconds
view
again,
it. But the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game. I got the Bills winning. I think the Bills are going to win. I think the Bills are better. I think they're the better team.
Say goodnight.
I think they are.
No.
I think they're the better team.
Why am I the
think
only
they
one
are.
that's
No,
gonna
that's
pick
good
the
because then we'll have the
Chiefs?
jinx.
You're
We
right.
can't all be on the Bills. Can't
and
all
you
be
know
on the
what?
Bills.
What I really want is the Bills to win. So this is huge.
This just fucked me.
That's fucked up.
Oh no, I want. The
But
Chiefs to
It was
win.
supposed to be me,
Nah,
bro.
it was.
They ruined my moment.
Nah,
No,
I'm
this-
not
you know
gonna
what
do
this
that.
feels
I'm
like?
not gonna do that because
This feels like Lakers versus Nuggets.
Nah.
When we were all against them this whole time, they're like, "Fuck it, man, sure."
This is the thing. You have to realize that
Wow.
the Texans were able to run the ball with their bad rushing attack against KC. The Bills have an elite rushing attack, and the Chiefs all season long have been one-dimensional.
He's got such a great cop out.
The
He's
Chiefs,
right, though.
He's got such a great cop out. though.
I actually knew he was going to say this, but I thought he would say it doesn't matter. The Chiefs XYZ.
But now it's the Chiefs lose. Oh my God, Patrick Mahomes! Like he even proves
This
me
is the
wrong.
problem.
Like,
Please.
let me tell you this. I actually respect the fuck out of this.
The Chiefs
so
can't run
much.
the ball.
They can't.
No.
They really have struggled.
They
But
won fucking 16 games without
without
running
it.
the ball.
But why I respect this more than anything, I swore on my mother I knew he was going to take. I thought he was going to take the Chiefs. The fact that he's taking the Bills, at least he's standing to his convictions. And the logic of what he's going to say is why the Bills are going to win this game. I agree. I understand where he's come from. Let me not say I agree with
Colors
it.
on.
Unintentional. Let me not say I don't disagree with it. I don't think this Chiefs rush defense, if there's a hole, it's their rush defense. Their pass defense has been back.
Yeah, and Jalen Watson is back, but this is his second game off an injury. So
But even without Jalen, in that weeks 13 to week 17, that pass defense
Trent
was awesome.
McDuffie is exceptional. Steve Spagnuolo, he's going to send some things to Josh Allen.
legend.
You know, I think this is going to be a heavyweight battle just like it's been before.
Wow.
And
Shocked me, man.
I look at the Chiefs'
Holy hell.
offensive line. Joe Tooney bumping out to left tackle has made the left tackle play better. It has dropped off the left guard play a lot.
Which makes
and
sense.
And it's a big reason why the Chiefs can't run the ball between the tackles because they cannot run to the left side because Joe Tooney's not anchoring that left guard position. And even with Joe Tooney at left tackle, he has been susceptible to giving up pressures. That tackle spot is very much still a question mark. And you have Von Miller playing really well. You have Greg Rousseau playing well. You have somebody like AJ Epinesa coming in and having some good rotational rushes. This Bills team, they are the most, outside of the Eagles, the most complete team in football.
Their defense is not that good.
Listen, I think when they are fully healthy, they can play really well.
And
And
last week, I know that the Ravens offense is all-time historically great. In that second half, they couldn't stop them for shit.
no doubt. And this is where Sean
Caused a lot of
McDermott
turnovers.
is
True.
under a microscope in this game
the
because
fumbles.
Fumble.
Sean McDermott has his blunders. He has success playing man coverage and blitzing Lamar Jackson, and then they dropped into a soft zone and let them drive down the field 88 yards and score that touchdown and should have given up a 2-point conversion as well. And I also thought that he didn't put the ball in Josh Allen's hands enough against the Ravens. Like, they ran the ball too much. Josh Allen having 22 pass attempts is unacceptable. You know, if that happens against the Chiefs, they're going to get blown the fuck out. That's not going to happen. So, you know, Josh Allen needs to pass the ball 30 to 40 times this game. You know, they can rush the ball, but in the second half, you know, Riv was talking about it after the game. You know, you were up on them by 11 points. You have the ball first. You can really put them in a hole, and they came out run heavy and they didn't pass the ball. You know, those are things
shit
that I
pissed me
worry
off.
about with Sean McDermott's in-game management that I don't think is a question mark with Andy Reid. This game is going to be extremely close like it's always been. And I try not to go storyline driven. The Chiefs have storylines with them being a 3-peat, but the Bills have a storyline with them not dropping a 0-4 against KC too. And I try not to go storyline driven in this. I just think the Bills are the better team. And all season long, you look at the Chiefs' losses, only 2 losses against the Broncos. They played their backups. The Bills were the only game that the Bills outplayed them from start to finish. And the Bills have that type of physicality on their team, and Josh Allen can play at the level of Mahomes, and he can match him.
They were their only loss. But if we remember how the game ended, or how the Bills ended it, was a 4th down, call Josh Allen's number. Hey, you're our MVP.
yes,
Go get it.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what it took. 29-22?
But you see how-
Am I correct on that?
Quick question. You see how they called the 4th and 3, 4th down, and instead of taking the 3, they just took the 4th and 3, and then the playoff game, they just took the 3. You see how different? And they were a lot closer in the Ravens game than they were in the Chiefs
But
game.
a little different there.
The field
they
goal
were
put
up
them up
7,
8.
correct. Up 7.
True.
Mahomes goes and scores a touchdown. He's raising those 2 fingers. They're going for 2, and now you can
Lamar
lose the
drove
game.
So fast.
Also,
pisses me
that
off.
field goal was a bit far, and Tyler Bass has been iffy.
He has been
You
iffy.
trust him from 20 yards.
It was like, yeah, I get
But
it.
from 40, Tyler Bass is,
Like, it's more hindsight because Lamar drove down so easily. And I was like,
I'm gonna say this. I love that you guys all are picking the Bills.
I don't.
It makes me excited and optimistic for what can happen. I vow every week to take them, but until I see it happen, I simply cannot pick against the Kansas City Chiefs. I understand that their run game has been extremely weak, but Patrick Mahomes in a playoff setting, he's going to rise to the occasion. And although last week, maybe some can argue that it wasn't the prettiest game for the Kansas City Chiefs, some can say that the Houston Texans played better than them in that game. When you needed Mahomes to make plays, he did. And in the biggest game of the season for the Chiefs so far, like we all knew it would happen, who rose from the dead? Travis Kelce.
100%.
For his best game of the season, by far, his most yards after the catch, by far, this season, he looked like Travis Kelce. And he only had 6 catches, 7 targets, if I'm not mistaken. Look at the routes. Look at how many times he was open. Nobody near him. If that happens against the Bills,
Shouldn't.
I'm anticipating Travis Kelce to still have a great game. But we've seen games where, in these most recent weeks, where Xavier Worthy is still a huge part of their offense. I think he'll have a great game. Hollywood Brown starting to get integrated. Could have had a big play against the Texans, dropped the ball. I still anticipate him to be involved in this offense heavily. I think we see the best version of Patrick Mahomes that we've seen all season, and he goes out there and he wins this game. I think that this defense for the Bills is not good, especially for this Chiefs team that I understand their rush offense is weak. You cannot come into this matchup thinking that Patrick Mahomes is not going to be the best version of himself.
Henry.
They
In the
for
first
a
half.
half.
I mean, you could stop Derrick for a half.
and
And
I'm
like
not-
stopping a regular
see,
running back for 4 quarters.
My whole point.
Yeah, if you can definitely stop a check on Kareem
I'm
Hunt.
not saying that Pacheco is going to have a good game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying Mahomes is going to understand I need to be the best version of myself that I've been this year, and he's going to rise to that occasion. And this defense for the Chiefs is going to make a timely play. It's just going to happen. They've been so fantastic, especially their pass defense. Getting Jalen back is going to be huge for them. But making Josh uncomfortable, there's nobody that can do it better than Spags for disguising these blitz. Even still, Josh Allen's just so immaculate in the pocket and so great at
never happened.
avoiding. Agreed. No, he's been amazing. In the last 4 games, 11 touchdowns, 0 turnovers for Josh Allen. But in the last play of last year's game versus the Bills, Chris Jones, impact play, getting pressure right up the middle, forced a errant throw from Josh Allen, end the game.
And Tyler Bass missed the field goal.
It's one of those situations where you need the defense to step up. They did, and that's not saying
I
Josh
don't
Allen
think that's
played
why
poorly.
they lost the game, though.
Listen, I think ultimately...
I'm not saying they lost the game. I'm saying the defense needed a timely play. Chris Jones being an amazing all-time player, he made a play. Chiefs still have that level of defense, and I understand the run
Diggs
game is
drop
still not
was
great.
Before that,
There was a lot of plays that
play
left
was
on the
fucking
field.
crazy.
You know,
there was a few of them bad
Josh
ones.
Allen made about 2 plays down the field that just were dropped. The
I think
one
that
is
was
Diggs,
the one to Ingram.
and there was
his
other
name?
one on the left sideline. You know,
Yeah.
Josh Allen made some exceptional plays. I think both of these quarterbacks need to play well. Mahomes is obviously the best quarterback in the game, and he's even if Josh Allen wins this game, Mahomes is still the best.
It's going to be a game of inches. I agree. It's going to be a close-ass game. But if that's the case,
Overrated as
when
fuck.
have we ever seen the Chiefs fall short in that regard?
But
we haven't.
Every time the Bills have matched up with the Chiefs, Josh Allen has matched Mahomes. He is the only quarterback in the most important moments as well.
Dog, the Mavericks
Plays
own OKC.
just as well as Mahomes. Like
Yeah,
they cancel each other out.
Tom Brady's him retiring. He takes him out of this conversation. I'm just saying.
And I just feel like right now, you know, the Chiefs, they're gonna make plays. And even last week, you know, Mahomes dropped a dime to Hollywood Brown that he dropped down the field.
Perfect pass.
Even in the Bills game earlier in the season, Xavier Worthy was wide open for a touchdown, and Mahomes overthrew him by just a little bit. And I think those passes in the playoffs, Mahomes is going to make 100%.
Now, that throw to Hollywood he had last week was one of the best throws he had this season.
Yes, 100%. But it's just something about the Chiefs' tackle play, and I don't think having a shutdown corner is going to matter as much in this matchup as it would against the Eagles with McDuffie against A.J.
Who do you
Brown.
think McDuffie guards this game? Shakir?
I don't even know.
I don't think he's gonna shadow anybody.
Like, he can guard Amari. He can, like, it's going to vary.
Amari's so just...
It's going to be Amari Cooper or Khalil Shakir. Probably Khalil Shakir more, but that's the thing with the Bills is, like, facing a shutdown corner isn't as big of a deal because the offense doesn't just run through one guy.
And I'm also going to be transparent. I think Houston's defense is better than the Bills' defense.
I think so too.
Oh, 100%.
And we watched, although there was moments of them struggling, we still saw Mahomes be able to march down the field.
I think this is going to be a shootout. Like,
I
I'm
think that was more
expecting
because the Texans couldn't score.
a shootout again.
They couldn't score, but at the same time, I just understand the talent that the Texans defense have.
Defense made some plays though.
Yeah.
They did. Oh, for sure.
Will Anderson. Yeah,
And
I mean,
so
they were
did
getting pressure on him.
Mahomes was, for all intents and purposes, pretty great last week.
He didn't make any negative mistakes.
No.
He was perfect, And that's, I think, the evolution of Allen in his game. Mahomes has figured this out already for like the past 2 years, where he is playing like Tom Brady. He's dinking and dunking his way down the field. Defenses have really been scared of Mahomes, and they play a lot of soft zone on him because they're afraid of his arm. And Josh Allen this year is taking that leap. He's avoiding sacks. He's avoiding turnovers. He's not taking the risk that he used to take, and he's just methodically marching down the field. Like, I think the number one most important stat in this game is going to be time of possession. I think this game is going to be a battle of these two teams trying to control as much clock as possible, because that is the difference. And every time they face, that's been the biggest difference. And we know how close these matchups have been. But I think the thing about the Bills being due, because they've lost 3 games in a row.
Kind of trolling, but kind of.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but I don't really believe in that. I mean, the Bills are the same franchise that lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
That's what I'm saying. They're fucking so due. Like, dude,
They're due, but it's unfortunate that they are in the same era with that fucking guy right there.
The last thing I'll say on this is that I think the winner of this game is going to win it all. I think these are the best two teams.
That's unfortunately where I disagree, but we'll talk about that.
Interesting.
Down the road.
Interesting.
But that goes perfectly into the next matchup.
Are you taking the Commanders? Is that why Jaden Daniels is on the back?
I didn't even tell John to put
Because
any
we got
players.
the Bills there. Maybe that was I should have opened my third eye. Now I'm awake. Are we saying that the Commanders are going to win this game? I'm interested.
high quality LeBron
Because
pick.
I'll start us off.
No.
Oh,
No.
Why don't you tell him to shut
I
up?
love you
Okay. Love you
like
too.
a brother. You opened up my mind because now that I'm thinking about
Open up a lot.
you've made some key points. I would like you to go first because I am all ears to hear what you think could happen this weekend or what you think they can do.
Now I got you thinking
So
about
now
that
I'm
too?
curious.
Okay.
Who are you picking? Because I know where he's going. And we all know where I'm
You
going.
know I'm an Eagles
I'm
guy.
fighting with this game because I don't think
I don't
it's
know
gonna.
why,
I don't
but-
think it's gonna be the ass kicking
not
that
gonna be an
Eagles
ass
fans
kicking.
think
It's far
it
from
is.
that.
And I do think that Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' offense figured something out in their last matchup. Now I know C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Jalen Carter didn't play the entire game, and they most likely did. They really did. Jalen Carter had a missed tackle on him towards the end of the game, but Jalen Hurts got hurt. The first matchup, Jaden Daniels had a rib injury, and he could not throw or step into any of his throws, and I think that really affected Washington's game plan. What the Commanders figured out in the second matchup is that they went empty on the Eagles. Instead of having a running back in the backfield, they just spread out the field, and they let Jaden Daniels in shotgun just methodically march down the field, and that really worked. And the Commanders, McLaurin's playing at an elite level, Downey Brown's playing really well, Zach Ertz playing really well. They have a lot of players playing really well. This was a tough game for me to predict. The reason why I'm going with the Eagles, despite some question marks around Jalen Hurts' injury, because if that knee is not 100%, it could really affect things, especially if the Commanders are blitzing him and he has to move in the pocket and he can't really do that. I think that's a big deal in this game, but the bigger deal for Washington is Sam Cosmi's out. If he played, I swear to God, I was taking the Commanders because he is an all-pro level guard. But without Sam Cosmi, Jalen Carter going up against a backup, and Milton Williams, it's just something that I can't trust their offensive line against that defensive front. If they had Sam Cosmi, I could trust it a little bit more, and I can maybe talk myself into possessions not ending with so much pressure in Jaden Daniels' face. But I really think Jalen Carter is going to disrupt this game just like he did last game. And the Eagles, they blitzed Jaden Daniels 33% of the time in their second matchup, and that's why Jaden Daniels torched them. He's been one of the most elite quarterbacks against the blitz. He's so good against it. And I don't think the Eagles really need to blitz in this game. If they're able to generate pressure with a four-man rush, they don't need to blitz. They can kind of put an umbrella on this offense, and they can kind of suffocate a little bit. And they haven't been able to run the ball consistently. So I think the Eagles are going to win this game, but it's really close. And the Cosme thing, we know he's not going to play because he has a torn ACL. The Jalen Hurts thing is the biggest factor in this game. How hurt is he? Because there were reports, and there was even his blind item. There's this girl on TikTok who puts out blind items. I don't know how reputable she is, but she puts out blind items on celebrities.
What does that mean?
Blind items is basically a secret, a source basically letting out information about somebody, and they go over like pop culture figures, celebrities. And this week it was on Jalen Hurts. My girl, Jessica, she follows that account, so she told me the blind item was that Jalen Hurts was perked up, like after he injured his knee.
I saw the interview.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Perk up again.
you look at how he...
So, snowing, injured knee, perked up, won the game. He gets slandered. Jesus Christ. Just saying.
Perk up again.
The Rams had the ball. They couldn't finish the game.
No, I understand that. Still won.
I mean, winning is not a quarterback stat.
Oh, interesting.
No, it's not.
Yeah, fuck all that. Winning is a quarterback.
I saw how he looked before the leg.
I do think this is going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
My thing is, though, is that the knee was probably really messed up, and he needed some insane painkillers because it was hurting that much. Now, that's where, how will his mobility be in this game? I think that's the number one thing I'm paying attention to. And the Commanders, they're playing with house money. You know, they're going to take risks. They're going to blitz Jalen Hurts. They're going to leave Lattimore and Sanders still on islands against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You know, so it's good. They're going to take a lot of risks, and they're going to test Jalen Hurts' knee very early and see how mobile he is. And that could be a potential shift in the game because while the Eagles' defense is elite, I do think the Commanders' offense is going to do more than enough to keep this game very close, and it will come down to really how Hurts is able to throw the ball, how he's able to be mobile. His biggest play against the Rams was a 40-yard rushing touchdown. Mm-hmm. You know, if his knee's messed up, can he do that? I don't think so. So that's a big thing that I'm looking at.
His big play could have been matched if A.J. Brown had a pair of hands. Like, that would have been awesome. That being said, I believe the Eagles are going to win this game because I think they're going to control clock. I think that Jalen Hurts going up against this defense, I understand that Jalen Hurts is banged up, and that's obviously a huge part in this game. But regardless of that fact, this Washington Commanders defense is still not great. They can make timely plays. They can force turnovers like we saw last week. But I think Jalen Hurts is a different caliber of quarterback in that regard, and he knows how to take care of the ball. He can, if he goes out there, takes care of the ball, gives the ball to Saquon, going up against this Commanders defense, they'll be able to get the job done. Do I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a good game? Yes, I do.
He's special.
Jaden Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks I've seen, especially when it comes to a rookie season. We're talking about the best I've ever seen. He's special. He's accurate. He has a great arm. He can get out and run. You mentioned against the blitz how amazing he is. His decision-making is incredible. I know you've spoken about it, but I was talking about it with Charles. We were talking about how he uses the VR and like how he's been an innovator of using VR to process defenses.
Is that as big of an advantage as steroids?
You know what's funny you say this? Because apparently the way that he sets it up is he uses it as 1.75 speed.
I heard that, yeah.
So he's processing defenses faster so that come game time. It's funny you say this is American steroids. That is funny and an interesting take. I'm not going to go against it actually because VR is supposed to be the future and you're seeing these defenses at almost 2 times speed that come game time. The defense is so slow. You just feel like you have all the time in the world, and that's not how it should be at the NFL level. So it's interesting. But that's a pretty interesting tidbit that this is a tool that he's used. And you think about how incredible he is at reading defenses and making quick decisions. It's like we talk about how his first read's often his go-to, but he's accurate. He's pinpoint with his decision-making, really doesn't make any costly decisions either. And on 4th and short, 3rd and short situations, I know if the ball's in his hands, I trust that he can get that job done. I think the difference in this game, though, is that you would need to establish a run against the Eagles, and we've seen them week in, week out really struggle in that regard, aside from Jaden Daniels bringing that element to their game. I'm going with the Eagles here. I think they take care of the ball. I think they are the guys that have the most time of possession, and I think that going up against this Commanders defense, the Eagles just have the clear advantage there.
Yeah, I think I'm taking Philly too. Their margin of error is just a lot bigger than the Commanders right now, because I feel like even if Philly turns the ball over, even if they have some 3-and-outs, that defense is so damn elite. And Jaden Daniels has been good. And I know they put up 45 points against the Lions, and he's had a historic season. You should still have faith that they're going to be able to move the ball. But this Eagles defense is a defense that Jaden Daniels is not the Lions defense, right? This is not the Buccaneers defense. This is by far the best defense he's played in these playoffs. Jalen Hurts is a big question because, number one, it's his health, right? Like, the knee injury didn't keep him out of the game, but it looked significant. It was a nasty knee injury. You have the perked up rumors, which who knows if that's true or not, but this is a guy that's,
That moves me.
Of course, had the concussion to enter the playoffs, so he didn't play for a couple of weeks, so a bit rusty now. How much practice time is he going to get this week? Also, A.J. Brown, I have all the faith in the world A.J. Brown's going to bounce back, but it's coming off probably his worst game of his career, maybe, especially when you talk about divisional round, the playoffs, the big moment. It feels like A.J. always steps up, and whether it was the snow, the ball was slick, whatever the case might be, he had some really uncharacteristic drops over the middle of the field. Of course, the one he had over on the right sideline. I do think A.J. Brown bounces back. The one area that's interesting in this game is the Commanders ran too high 72% of the time in the divisional round, which was the highest rate of the season, right? It's part of that, of course, they were winning that game, right? They had Jameson Williams. You have this explosive offense, and, you don't want to allow the big play, especially when they're up like 10, 11 points going into halftime. But since week 10, out of 29 qualifying quarterbacks, Hurts is 28th in yards per attempt. This is against cover 2. He is 20th in yards per attempt, air yards per attempt, and catchable throw rate. So 28th out of 29 quarterbacks. He's been basically the worst quarterback in the NFL against these too high looks. But when you go to too high, it's going to have lighter boxes. It's going to allow Saquon Barkley to have more rushing lanes. And in the regular season, he had 125 yards and 150 yards. We know how great Saquon Barkley is going to be. I think the question becomes, if the Commanders are able to stay close, if the Commanders are able to at any point keep up and have a lead in this game, if the Eagles have to pass the ball, which we still haven't really seen because they dominated the Packers, and for the most part they were up on the Los Angeles Rams. If they do have to throw the ball and the Commanders are playing, this too high defense, how is Jalen Hurts going to be able to react to that? How is Kellen Moore going to have this offense set up to allow them to have some success? Because Drew, you have a very strong opinion on Jalen Hurts. I have not really been impressed by him this season.
Strong opinion. You just fell off.
The goal for the Commanders is to get out to a lead to force the Eagles to pass the ball.
Hasn't happened.
But
it hasn't, Riv.
Playing cover 2, Jahmyr Gibbs averages 10 yards per carry against the
that's where you give up, right? When you play these too high looks, you might not get the explosive plays, but you're going to have Saquon. So we'll see. Like, if I'm the Commanders, I'm like, I want to stop Saquon Barkley. If Jalen Hurts is banged up, number one, so he's not going to be as mobile, and number two, he has not been as sharp this year as he has in years past, I want Jalen Hurts to beat me. Let me try my best, my fucking hardest, even though it's damn near impossible to stop Saquon Barkley. That's what we're going to do. I would have heavier boxes, and you're going to have to leave one-on-ones on the outside with Smitty and A.J. Brown, and God bless. But right now, I want Jalen Hurts to beat me if I'm the Commanders. I need him to go out there and have the game of the season, because over these last few weeks, he hasn't been able to do that.
Yeah, I think they're going to play very aggressive at the line early on to get Hurts to maybe check out of certain plays. Jalen Hurts, I didn't think he played very well against the Rams, but he made some good plays to where he checked out of pass looks to run the ball with Saquon, and they led to touchdowns. So he deserves credit for that, noticing the lighter personnel out there for the Rams, and that can be a similar thing. I think the Eagles' offensive line, I think they have 3 dominant players. I think there are 2 players on the offensive line that I think are average offensive linemen. I think that's Mekhi Becton and Cam Jurgens. I think Cam Jurgens made the Pro Bowl.
Mekhi's tough.
Mekhi in certain aspects.
Pass protection, I don't know. In the run game, he's this big fucking brother, so he could
like Cam Jurgens made the Pro Bowl, but I when I watch him, I think he's kind of like hit or miss sometimes. The Commanders have Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. Those are some 2 really good interior defensive linemen, and Jerzon Newton, who's the third guy on that defensive line that rotates with them. And that's kind of the thing I'm looking at. I think the Washingtons, they're gonna play really aggressive to start out this game.
They have to.
And I think that the Eagles are either gonna not care and still run the ball, or they're gonna try to throw the ball down the field and see if they can get a good shot to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. So I expect them to be very aggressive, but if Washington can get a lead in this game at some point and play with some sort of leverage, things could change. But that's the hardest thing with the Eagles. Can you get them to that point where you're actually forcing Hurts to beat you through the air That's the toughest part, and that's the toughest barrier with the Eagles team.
Haven't seen a single team do it this year, sadly.
We've seen it all, man. We've seen Lamar this year. We've seen Joe Burrow this year. We've seen, Matthew Stafford prior into the year. We've seen Jaden twice this year.
Jordan Love.
Week 1, Brazil, bro.
Yeah, we've seen him in the playoffs. We've seen him this year. We've seen it all this year. So I'm not, we've seen this team twice. So we have the pleasure of having 2 games of film.
Hard to beat a team 3 times.
Hard to beat a team 3
Oh, well,
times.
no, they beat you.
They did.
They were 1-1. My bad.
Yeah, but realistically,
should have won.
Hard to beat the team 3 times when you. Here's the thing with this Washington Eagles matchup, and I think people are very optimistic about Washington. I think you should be. They've given you a ton of things to be optimistic about. They just lit up the Detroit Lions defense. They made some timely plays against Jared Goff. But here's the thing about it: when we played them the second time, and Joel, you were
dominating them.
You're very big on saying this. I want to make sure you started this statement. It takes everything for a team to beat us this year. Like, everything has to go wrong. And from Hurts getting hurt to then Smitty dropping the ball. Then we had Kenny Pickett in the game. Then when the offense is stalled up, Saquon getting locked up in the second half. Like, it takes a lot for us. And even then at the end of the game, we still had an opportunity to win that game. And if Smitty catches the ball, we're probably sitting at 2-0 against Washington, potentially being the 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everything had to go wrong. I think the biggest difference in this game, though, in a playoff game, we have home field advantage. I think that's something that nobody really is talking about. Like, when you have home field advantage in the playoffs, it's just a different feeling. And I think for us specifically in Philly, we're adapted to the cold weather. We have the Philly fans with us. I do think we'll be able to run the ball. I haven't really checked on QM's injury report, so I don't know what's going on.
I think he's going to play. Yeah.
I hope he does play. That's dope. Slay's looking good to go. So that's pretty good. I thought Slay played a really good game in the Rams game. Showed a little bit of life in his time in his career.
He's been playing well these last few weeks.
Yeah, but there's some moments where he shows his old age, throughout the season, which is, they leave him on islands. So I get it. He's old. But I think Jalen Hurts' injury is the biggest thing. But we haven't swayed away from the game plan this year. Like, whether Hurts is injured, Hurts is not injured, whether AJ's injured, AJ's not injured, Smitty's injured, Smitty. We have built this offense around Saquon. We've, let Saquon run the train, run the show. We've let Saquon lead the charge. So whether Hurts is injured or not, I feel like this offense is still going to run through Saquon Barkley.
100%.
This offense is still going to be dictated by how they play Saquon Barkley. If he's hurt, obviously they're going to, beef up the boxes a little bit more. But when you have arguably the best offensive line in the league with guys like Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Cam and them boys, and Dickerson, you still run the ball. You still figure out a way to get the ball movement. And, we have guys like Dallas and Smitty and AJ. I just think Washington defense, it's just not talented enough right now. I just think there's a clear gap in our defense and their defense. Our defense is a lot more grittier. It's a lot more talented. The cohesiveness is there. We have the defensive coordinator. And Washington is young right now. They are playing with house money. But I think we are in a position where we can't lose. This is a game we cannot lose. This is a game we have to go in, and everything's on the table. All bets are on the table. So I'm really confident in this team to win this game and head to the Super Bowl. I've been super confident.
I think that's a good point, Riv, because right now, all of the pressure is on Philly.
Yep.
All of the pressure in the world is on Philly. Washington has zero pressure, and they're also playing with all the confidence in the world.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels just went on the road and put up 45 fucking points against the number 1 seeded team, regardless of all the injuries. That's a rookie quarterback going in there and putting up 45 points. So it's a dangerous combination if you're a Philly fan. You got a team with nothing to lose and playing with all of the confidence. A rookie quarterback who's been playing the best ball of his life.
Division,
and a division.
East?
And this is a Commanders team that has given them hell for years, even when Philly in 2022.
Zach Ertz like a vibe.
Like, listen, man, not that Philly lacks confidence by any means. I think they got all the confidence. They got swagger, the attitude, everything. But the Commanders play with edge to them too, right? It's in a different facet because I think you have of course they're a good rushing team, but you have this passing aspect that's maybe a little more finessed, where the Eagles are like, we have one of the best offensive lines of football. We could just run it down your throat time after time again. But shit, man, it's a dangerous combination that they're playing with. Having that confidence, having nothing to lose. Jaden Daniels playing at this level. I got Philly. Don't get me wrong. But shit, man, it could happen.
It's gonna be a great game.
It could happen.
It's gonna be a great game.
24-14.
14?
Yeah.
They're gonna score, bro.
They could not.
I think it's got to be like I don't know, man.
We've only got the team's only scored over 25.
The Commanders
on
are
us.
one of those teams.
Yeah, that game.
They put up
and
what 33.
Last
like
week
33,
it was I know
22.
yeah, but
That's Matthew Stafford. Respect Jaden, by the way.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going 28-24, y'all.
If it's 28-24, I don't think we win. That's why I say 24.
Why?
14.
They scored 24. They scored 34.
Nah, I don't see us scoring in a high. Like, we don't usually do the high
Scored
scoring
28
games.
last week with Hurts on one knee.
Yeah.
My score is 27-20 Eagles.
I can see
They
that.
also did have 2 just breakaway runs where Saquon's been doing that all season, so he can. But
Also did have AJ Brown. Forget that he's amazing.
Yeah, I think this looks more like a Green Bay game, like an ugly ragdoll game.
Interesting.
If we do win that game, because I think the first matchup was like 24 to like 14.
But
or
I don't
something
think
like that.
this is going to be like the first matchup. This guy is so much better than he was then.
But I
He's
don't hate-
amazing. He's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think we are too though.
No, 100%.
No,
I
your
have you guys
team-
winning.
Yeah, it's the most
Like I don't
talented
think
team
like
in the
if
league.
Hertz plays the second game, I don't think they'd score 33 points.
I think that
I think
it's
we
definitely
control
less.
the clock.
Yes.
I think we manage the clock. I think we definitely kill the possession.
Somehow, some way, he throws that ball. Smitty's catching it.
Well,
I mean, it was
I
the
don't think we'd be in that position.
The score was 21-7, and then the Commanders started to come back. So, I feel like just not even this a Hurts thing, but
Yeah.
if they can stop the run, you're putting, I don't really have much faith in it, but if they sell out against it, there's a possibility.
Here's the thing. Every single team that's gone up against the Philadelphia Eagles has had that same idea. Stop Saquon. We'll win this game.
Yeah, but for the most part, the Rams did it outside of like 2 plays.
That's all us
It
that
cost 2
leads.
touchdowns.
I know, but I'm
Nah, we
just
had some
saying,
good
like,
runs in
He
between.
ran for 200 yards.
yeah, the 2 big runs were a big part of
I
that.
agree with but 2 plays don't make up 200.
With the runs that he had, yeah.
he still would average like 5 a carry, 6 a carry.
I feel like
he was
the
dominant.
Rams did a pretty good job at neutralizing some runs. They got beat some other ones, obviously, but I just feel like if you can force them into passing situations, it's just not the Hurts factor. It's the Kellen Moore factor. I don't trust Kellen Moore's
You don't
play
talk about
passing
Kellen Moore
designs
enough.
at all.
Yes, I said, are they going to is Kellen Moore going to put him in possession to succeed? And is Jalen Hurts? I mentioned Kellen Moore. You can run the
Yeah,
tape
so
back.
I had to double check. We lost the first game we won 26-18, and then we played Baltimore 2 weeks after, beat them 24-19. Then we lost to Washington 33-36, and we beat Green Bay 22-10. We beat Cincinnati 37-17. So more or less, we're gonna need, especially if Hurts is injured, we're gonna need our Eagles defense to kind of do what they've been doing. That's
Yeah.
shut down a high-powered offense.
And I like I said, I think that becomes much easier with Sam Cosmi not playing. I think that's just a really big thing.
I also
agree.
think we need no snow on the ground.
No, we want snow. Finesse don't look good on
I was
snow.
going to say, I think it's going to improve.
gonna
It's
help
going to help
us
the
even
running
more.
team.
It's going to help the running team, I agree, but defensively, I watched Matthew Stafford figure it out in the last 3 drives of the game.
Yeah, but we were like the last drive when they scored was kind of like we felt like the game not over, but like we went up like 12, 14 points.
You definitely let up.
Yeah,
Because
we
Saquon
let
has
up.
the 60-yard run. You got all the momentum.
Yeah,
Game's
see,
over.
They let up fair, but at the same time, that last drive, y'all have to lock in.
No, the
Granted,
last drive
Jalen
for
made
sure.
an amazing play.
I'm saying no, the drive before the last drive when they scored.
Why do we have to get there?
I agree. I'm just telling you what it looked like.
I always feel like, and we saw that. Who we just see that against? Regardless, on the last drive of games, the Bills and Ravens. A lot of the time in the last drive when you're up a touchdown, you're like, we just don't want to get beat over the top 70 yards. We'll play in a softer zone. You could take underneath stuff, so you could go methodically down the field. And if it takes 2 minutes, fuck it, we're fine with that.
But to be fair, if Jalen Carter, which he made an amazing game-wrecking play, that play single-handedly saved them.
Yeah.
It was a 3rd and short. Now you get sacked. It's 4th and 11. Clock's still moving. Don't have a timeout. We have to rush to the line.
And there was an open receiver that honestly was going to be a scoring play. That was going to be a touchdown.
Who's gonna score?
It was an amazing play. He got off the center and immediately got
I agree
to
with you. I think the
Stafford.
drive before you shouldn't let up. You should play.
And
I
then
agree with you.
honestly, after that Puka catch, the whole world believed that they were going to win that game.
Yeah, but you look at the drive that led the Rams to get in that final possession. It was a second down pass rollout, and Hurts had to take a sack because there was just nowhere to go with the ball.
Yeah.
And then 3rd down, it's 3rd and fucking 11, and you got to run the ball now because you got to chew clock.
That play call was so fucking terrible.
So that's why I have little faith in Kellen Moore. But like I said, you got to get the Eagles to the brink.
If they win the Super Bowl, it's off talent. Like this talent was
100%.
fucking unbelievable.
This is the most
And
talented
And this is a
roster
win
football.
for me. because I'm always pro talent over coaching.
Our defense is going to get us this W.
I think so.
I'm
think
ecstatic
so.
about
I think so. But I can't. This guy, he's shown me things that I didn't know were possible.
Well, I'm not. I think we're better in Detroit. That's why I'm not.
Him
moved by
alongside Terry McLaurin, that's a dangerous duo, baby.
Diami Brown.
Tommy Brown talk. Zach Ertz. Come on.
Disrespect
Brian Robinson.
Terry, man.
that. I think Detroit's defense is Swiss cheese. Ours isn't. So
Did you hear what Terry McLaurin said to Mike Sanders still after Goff threw a
honestly,
pick?
no. What'd he say?
He was like, he's throwing gifts. It's a book fair. He's throwing gifts.
Hey, Jared Goff stinks, bro.
Nah, McLaurin was hype on the sideline. You know, they got a lot of veterans too. You know, obviously it doesn't make up for the talent.
All
advantage the
pro
Eagles have.
vet. Bobby Wagner,
Zach
having him in the
Ertz,
One of the best in the
locker
world.
room.
Wagner.
One of the best in the league, huh?
Frankie.
Can you believe?
That was all
Can
he
you
had.
believe?
Just don't put him
not
in
just
coverage.
not just him.
Him too.
Oh, this motherfucker. He was yapping
He's
too.
always sneaky with everything, you
But
know?
that's
Be
why
a
I've been
man
mindful
about
of
it.
that. I've been mindful of that, so I keep it in my back
He's
pocket
just not
too.
a man about things. He's very sneaky.
Just don't put
Like
him
a
in
rat.
coverage, and you don't got an issue. You know,
Like a little hamster.
roams around the
Sneakily.
line.
He's a little weasel.
Yeah,
Little
it's
weasel.
ridiculous. Be a man about shit. You're 6'7".
Oh, you guys are talking about me?
100%.
I'll be honest. Jokic hit a fucking full court shot. I was looking.
That's
at
not
it.
even your
I didn't
favorite
hear it.
player.
I just got a Bleacher Report notification.
He just talked about the Nuggets being a sleeping giant.
Because he's
Oh
scared
my
to
God!
death.
Groundbreaking take. Best player in the world's team can win a chip.
I haven't heard anyone else say it.
No, really, you're not wrong. Okay, Dehls, this is a brand new day in Jets land. We're taking flight, and I feel like the vibes are immaculate because Aaron Glenn is the new Jets head coach. They inked a 5-year deal. Dehls, 8 seasons with the Jets, multiple-time Pro Bowler. You saw what he did with the Lions, the motivator, the man he is. Aaron Glenn is a Jet. What do you think about it?
I'm really excited, man. Aaron Glenn was, outside of Mike Vrabel, my top choice. I know Ben Johnson wasn't really in consideration, but it was really 1A, 1B. You know, I think Mike Vrabel was number one because he showed the history of being able to do it. He's shown that he could be a great head coach in this league and overachieve with rosters we didn't think were number one seeds in the AFC. But Aaron Glenn, I think the number one thing I'm most excited for is he wanted this job. Right, like Aaron Glenn wanted to be the head coach of the New York Jets. It was reported for weeks now. He could have had interviews with the Saints, could have interviews with the Raiders, but he wanted to be head coach of the New York Jets. I think that's what you have to be most excited for. This is a guy, of course, who was drafted by the Jets. Actually, they trade up one pick. I didn't know this. They trade up one pick with the Saints. The Saints didn't think they were going to draft Aaron Glenn. They ended up drafting him in the first round. He ended up being a Pro Bowler for us. But
And this was such a great move that Sean Payne complimented the Jets.
did, yeah,
He
yeah.
said, "Congratulations, Aaron Glenn.
yeah, him
you
and
gotta go."
they have a relationship from the Saints. He was a DB coach there for a while, but I think it's awesome because number one, when he was with the Jets, there was a time where the Jets were 1-15, a complete dog shit organization. Bill Parcells came in, were able to turn around. I think they went 9-7 the year after, eventually making an AFC Championship run. So he's seen in-house with the Jets being able to turn around an organization. Of course, he did it with the Detroit Lions too, right? This was the worst defense in football when he got there. This past year, they were top 5 in DVOA, even with all of the injuries that they had. He also helped the New Orleans Saints. He was a DB coach there. You had Marshawn Lattimore get kind of develop. Thank you under
Marcus
him. A couple
Williams,
Marcus
Von
Williams.
Bell.
Yeah, there's a bunch of DBs that got helped develop there. There was one year where they were like top 5 in interceptions, and overall everywhere he's gone, he's had success. So what I'm most interested in is what the staff looks like, what the offensive coordinator looks like. Callie from the Los Angeles Rams seems to be kind of the hot name. Sean McVay has very glowing reports. I'm a bit nervous because, of course, Mike LaFleur is over there in LA and wasn't a great relationship with the Jets. Woody Johnson basically forced Robert Saleh to fire LaFleur because of such an anemic offense that they had, and probably should have given him at least one more season as the offensive coordinator. So a bit worried if they're going to be able to hire him. But overall, you got to be excited if you're a Jets fan. This is a guy that I think schematically is not like, I don't think he's Brian Flores. Honestly, I don't know if he's even Robert Saleh. I think they're both really good defensive minds, but as kind of a CEO, build a culture, build a foundation, that's what you got to be excited for with Aaron Glenn. If you go and watch him, whether it's on the Pivot podcast, him in Hard Knocks, the way he's talking to players, the way he's talking about how he built a team, how he wants his players to play. It's all stuff you want to see in a head coach. So really excited for him to be here. The next 2 big steps are GM and offensive coordinator. But as a head coach hire, it's hard to get better than this.
Listen, I feel like the Jets have talent. I think the question mark with them is who's going to be the quarterback. That's the big question mark. I think Aaron Rodgers will be back with the Jets, and I want him to be back with the Jets. Because let me tell you something about everybody that's doubting Aaron Rodgers. This past year,
In a
3,897
down year.
yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. All-time Jets ranks. Third all-time single passing yard leader. Third all-time in touchdowns. Seventh in passer rating. Aaron Rodgers had a historical Jets quarterback
was the
season
record?
all-time. You just can't give a guy up like that. It's because of the defense. The defense was bad. That's why we had the
Whoa,
record
your
we had.
defense.
Yes. The
Not
defense
Aaron
was bad.
Rodgers' poor execution in the clutch.
There was times, but I feel like Aaron Rodgers for the most part played well this season. And here's the thing: you look at the advanced numbers, not that good. 25th in QBR, 19th in EPA per play, but PFF is more so like a film-based application to grade quarterbacks, and Rodgers was 17th. Now this isn't great. This is average.
Wow.
This is average. This
That's
is
what happens when
average.
you're the Jets, bro. 17th. Yeah.
But here, this is the thing. I think the average quarterback play, if we can get back to playing some high-level defense, we can help Aaron Rodgers out more on the offensive side of the ball, which is our run game. It could take some pressure off of him. This is the best available option. I think the Jets, they should keep Aaron Rodgers one more year and draft a quarterback in the second round, whether that's Jackson Dart. I don't know if he falls that far because I think towards the draft, Jackson Dart is going to move up a lot of boards and potentially be a first-round pick. I think he has the arm talent that can maybe justify it. Jalen Milroe, probably a first-round pick. I'm kind of looking at like a Will Howard. Maybe if he falls to the second round, the Jets can take a swing on him and he can develop a year under Aaron Rodgers. But I think the most excited thing I am about this hire is just Sauce Gardner in the defense. I think this defense has talent. I think we have a top 10 pick to add to the defensive line. And Sauce Gardner in a down year, I just think this has to be stated because he's been disrespected this year. Among all quarterbacks that played 300 snaps in coverage, so that's 97 corners,
I saw this.
he was the 19th highest graded corner in the league. So he wasn't elite, but he was a great corner still.
19?
Isn't that a drop off from first team All Pro?
No, it is
from
a
like
drop off.
number 2 to now 19.
Yes, but that was graded. When you look at he had a 53.2% reception percentage. That ranked 5th. He allowed 391 yards in coverage. 12 forced incompletions. That ranked 7th. First in incompletion percentage at 26%. He allowed 25 receptions on 47 targets on the entire season. 25 receptions. How many games did he play this past year? Played what? About 15 plus? He's not even allowing 2 receptions a game. That's how great he was this year. But somehow he's just dog shit, whatever. And 7 pass breakups ranked 23rd and 79.3 passer rating ranked 17th. Sauce Gardner still had a really good year. Was it top end corner year? No, it wasn't. But I think he'll get back to that just looking at the first 2 years of his career.
I agree.
And I think what Aaron Glenn can really help him out with is his physicality, is his tackling, is his ball hawking ability. I feel like that is the next step for Sauce Gardner to take, to start turning these tight coverage plays into interceptions. And I think Aaron Glenn can help him out in that. So I think the defense will be great next year. Again, we've seen it this past year. Defense is volatile. Look at the top defenses this year. The Eagles, the Broncos, the Chargers. Where did they rank last year? They're one of the worst defenses in the league. The Broncos turned it up in the second half, but they were in a fantastic defense all year long. So defense can vary from year to year. I think we have the talent, and I think this is a good hire. Aaron Glenn is more of a motivator than a scheme designer, but I'm very excited for this hire, but we'll have to see. I think the number one thing is who's going to be our quarterback and what's going to be the succession plan after. If Rodgers is the quarterback, what's going to be the plan after that? And then we're ready to go.
I'm excited for you guys. Seems like you guys are happy. I think
Thank
that's really all that matters.
Yep.
I said last time we were talking about this, I would have liked a more experienced coach in the building just for the sole fact that you kind of needed someone that could come in and immediately set a tone. But with Aaron Glenn, I think that he can do that. Understanding that we saw what was able to go down with the Lions. We saw how they had so many injuries, and they still had that next man up mentality. And Aaron Glenn was able to adjust on the fly and still get the best out of his guys. Now with the Jets, it's a different situation because again, they're not as talented as the Detroit Lions. The rush defense, I'm hopeful that you guys can adjust that giant hole that you guys had this past season. And I'm with you with Sauce. I think Aaron Glenn's going to get the best out of him, and hopefully next year you address the holes. Like I mentioned, the rush defense, getting some safeties. I think that that's a huge point of emphasis in my opinion for that defense. On the offense, let's just be better as a whole. Let's just be better in the run game. Let's be better let's get some offensive line personnel that's going to be best to protect Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, start making better decisions. Our wide receivers, want to play for the New York Jets. That obviously would be cool. Not sure what's going to happen with Garrett Wilson for your guys' sake. Hope he stays. For my sake,
He will stay.
Hope he's a Denver Bronco. That would really move the fuck out of
Let
me.
me ask you something. Who is more disappointed, Aaron Rodgers or Breece Hall this past year?
Breece Hall, guaranteed.
Better than Saquon, Breece Hall.
I didn't say that.
No, I know you did. Just wanted to bring that up again because that was so funny to me. You know,
You thought Nick Chubb was better than him.
Nick Chubb got hurt. That's different.
I'm just saying.
Breece Hall just got ass.
But Breece Hall, like, that's the number one guy that
That was a low
you know.
blow, man. That's
Is he like a cornerstone moving forward? Do you give him one more year to
I
bounce
wouldn't
back?
say he's a
I
cornerstone.
think give him one more year.
I
to
agree
prove
with
it.
that, 'cause he's not
I
a
think
cornerstone.
Breece Hall showed you in his, especially in his first year, and even some in the second year, that he's a big playability. I think the one thing the Jets are really lacking is big play guys, right? Like you have Garrett, you got Tay, but there's nothing outside of that, right? Like Mekhi Corley might not be on this team. The tight end room is pretty dog shit.
We have Garrett Wilson,
But you
Devontae
need
Adams. We need more.
Breece. Well, first of all, I don't know if
Colson
Tay's even going to
Loveland.
be on this team.
Yeah, just know when you're actually in the mud. Like Broncos, we have fucking Cortland Sutton, and shout out to Marvin Mims. He really took that leap. I don't want to discredit him, but that's what I have to work with. And we were able to go to the playoffs. For you, we have Garrett Wilson. We have Devontae Adams. We have Breece Hall, though he was mid. Braylon Allen, who apparently can start on a lot of teams.
Well, yeah,
That
my
just tells
point
me
is,
the coach matters.
and also this year,
You didn't have a coach.
Breece Hall was not that explosive player that he was in years past. Breece Hall had shown that he could be a home run hitter. He could take 70, 80-yard touchdown runs. He could be a weapon. Number one, the thing that I would do is get him more involved in the passing game. I
100%.
think this is one of the best pass-catching running backs in the NFL, and he has been insanely underutilized, especially this past year. I think the offensive line is pretty much set. I think Olu, you got left tackle.
Definitely.
You have AVT, who I believe might be a free agent. I don't think they picked up his fifth-year option. You got Tittman, Morgan Moses, John Simpson. I'm cool with the line. And if Rodgers is back, I think Tay is back. So bringing in offensive coordinator with some life, some juice. Of course, just pick someone up from Sean McVay and hope for the best. Kind of my vibe right now.
Isn't Mark Brunell about to come up?
He's in the mix, I know, but what I heard from various reports is this Cali, C-A-L-E-Y. He seems to be the front runner, or at least that's who Glenn wants. It's up to him if he wants to take the job. Because
Let's go Jets, man.
New England offered him a bag last offseason to be OC, and he turned it down.
Okay. Let's go Jets. I'm rooting for it.
I'm excited.
Listen, I think this is gonna be a franchise altering motivational speaker for the franchise.
I hope so, dude. That'd be fucking sick.
Here's my thought process on this. Jets, you've had a bit of a funny summer in the sense of, Garrett Wilson kind of upset with the offense and the way it was going. That was probably going on towards the end of the season.
Winter.
Sorry.
Gotcha. It's all
Pardon
good.
me. Winter.
Seasons change.
And even with Tay coming there, you still felt like it was a lack of juice and energy to the team because you guys started losing even more. Then on top of that, you had Ahmad telling people on Instagram how, don't come to the Jets, just throwing these fake subliminals. So it's been a weird...
It wasn't no subliminals. This is
He
straightforward.
was
I
keeping-
will not be telling T.
He
Higgins
was
to
keeping it
come
100.
here.
So it's been a
Because
very...
we had guys already. We had Devontae. We had
Nah,
Garrett.
that's not why.
He was defending
It's
his teammates.
It's been a very toxic situation.
Man, y'all love to create narratives, man.
Now you bring in Aaron Glenn, who kind of, is a part of the driving force of what was built in Detroit. And Detroit built a good culture over there. They've built a solid foundation over there with a lot of good players. Let me start by saying this. I think the Jets defense has talent. I think you have guys like Quinnen Williams. I think you have guys like Ahmad Gardner.
Will McDonald.
I think you have guys like Will McDonald. I think you have guys like C.J. Mosley.
Jermaine coming back.
Like I think you have dudes that can, warrant.
DJ Reed was not good this year, sadly.
He's probably
he's
leaving.
gone. He's
And
gone.
in the draft, Mason Graham, if we can get him, man.
That would be dope. And I think you
Jeez.
guys have warranted top 7 defenses with this talent. So you guys have talent. The problem is coaching. And that was the fear with Saleh when you fired him. Would you lose that same defensive intensity? And you kind of did. I think Aaron Glenn is a cool hire, though. I do think I would have liked for you guys to get an OC or a guy with more offense, but there wasn't really many guys out there. I don't think Ben Johnson was going to be there. And I do, I guess, understand Drew's point and maybe somebody with a little bit more experience, maybe to pair with Aaron Rodgers. But you're kind of bringing in this guy for the next guy. You're bringing him for Aaron Rodgers too, but it's really the next quarterback because realistically, Aaron probably has like one more year left. So I think
Unfinished business.
Yeah, right. Whatever finished business you need to finish. But I do
We need
think
to make the playoffs.
Phoenix clears.
brother, that business is long gone.
We could maybe do
You
it
just
this
need to
year.
be right now. You just need to be competitive. I think that's the first step. And to be competitive, I think it starts with getting a good hire. And I
We're
think
competitive. We had a lot of
one.
one-score losses.
Didn't you win 5 games last year?
Well, we had a lot. You said competitive, not winning. but
Honestly,
we were
the
competitive.
Jets-
Competitive was Denver last year.
You know what, Joel?
Jets were dog
every
shit,
season,
but-
Joel asked for the same thing. when that little box comes up that says in the hunt. That's all he's asking for.
Honestly, the Jets, they were obviously dog shit last year. They won 5 games, whatever. Jeff Ulbrich was, I've seen Adam Gase, I've seen Todd Bowles. He was the worst head coach we've ever had. I think Jeff Ulbrich, shout out defensive mind. He's good. He's defensive mind, whatever. He was the worst head coach I've ever seen in my life. With Robert Saleh, like, I know the fucking record wasn't great, whatever, but like,
it's 2-3.
They were 2-3. They lost a nail biter to Minnesota, who ended up being one of the best teams in football. Who knows? You fucking open up Pandora's box. If you keep Robert Saleh, you're probably, I'm not saying you make the playoffs, but I don't think you win 5 games. You probably win 8 games. Again, underachieved by far, but I don't think we're looking at them as much of a joke as we are now.
I just think that, we have a head coach for the first time in a couple months. We didn't have a head coach really all year long, and I think
that's the standard now.
Once he got fired,
coach, baby.
Once he got fired, really the season was over.
That's all it takes, though. Like, it really all it takes. You hit on head coach, you hit on a couple of draft picks, all of a sudden you're a playoff team.
Listen, Sean Payton changed my life.
I was gonna say, fucking example number 1 right here. Example number 2, Detroit. If you hit on a coach and you hit on a couple of draft picks, the quarterback doesn't have to be all world. Like, Bo Nix was not an all-pro. Jared Goff this year played at that level, but like, we know what Jared Goff is. He's just in a great position. You don't need like this fucking top 5 quarterback to make the playoffs, right? You need to want to win a Super Bowl probably, but to be competitive, to make the playoffs, even win a playoff game, you just need to, hit on head coach, a couple draft picks, you could be there.
I understand people want an offensive guy, but those offensive coaches tend to gravitate to offensive situations. The Jets are a defensive situation, but an offensive coach just gravitated towards a offensive situation. Liam Coen and the Jaguars. It is expected that Liam Coen will be the next head coach of the Jaguars, and this was a weird saga because the Jaguars didn't fire Trent Baalke, even though they fired Doug Peterson, and Jordan Schultz reported that the Jaguars are going to have a real tough time finding a head coach if Trent Baalke is still the GM. So they brought in Liam Coen for an interview. Liam Coen basically said, I'm good off this. I want to go to Tampa Bay, and they had an agreement worked out, but he didn't sign it. The Jaguars then proceeded to fire Trent Baalke, bring Liam Coen back to the building, and now they're expected to make him a head coach. Why did it take the Jaguars this long to fire Trent Baalke? It is ridiculous, but the good news is that Liam Coen is going to be their next head coach, most likely. And the talent that he has to work with, Trevor Lawrence, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, I think their offensive line improved from the year before.
From dog shit to
Brian
piss.
Thomas Jr. is a superstar player.
Legend.
Then you have Evan Ingram and Brenton Strange, who was serviceable as a young tight end. I think they have some pieces there that Liam Coen can work with. And his offensive philosophy with Tampa Bay was cover every blade of grass. Baker Mayfield threw for 4,500 yards this year. 44.7% of his yardage came from screens and came from play action passes. He was one of the most screen-heavy quarterbacks in the league. Those, to me, that shows easy buttons that Liam Coen had in place for Baker. And Baker, of course, played high-level football outside of that as well. But Trevor Lawrence, in his time in Jacksonville, has really not had a coordinator that has made it easy on him and sprinkle in those easy completions for him. So I think having Liam Coen in there, we can see a different Trevor Lawrence. And this is the most quarterback-friendly situation and coordinator that Trevor Lawrence has ever had.
Can I ask a question? Why do people hate Trent Baalke?
He's not good at drafting.
He's not good at his job.
He drafted Brian Thomas Jr., did he not? Tank Bigsby, did he not?
Didn't he draft?
Trayvon Walker, number 1 overall pick. He's not Aiden.
I think since 2020,
Trayvon had a great year this year.
Laviska Shenault?
Yep.
I think since 2020, there's only been 1 Pro Bowler for the Jaguars.
And I can't listen. I like Tank Bigsby.
Was the Christian
that's not
Kirk,
a home run? You know what I mean?
Was the Christian Kirk contract a bad contract in hindsight?
No.
Trent Baalke's I don't think he's good.
But I'm just wondering, I'm thinking of the moves that were made. It's like, I know this team is bad, but I don't know if
there's just not a lot of GMs that get this long of a leash when you've had multiple number 1 overall picks,
disagree.
And this year you were dog shit again.
And the
injuries,
but BTJ was a home run.
Joe Douglas drafted Garrett Wilson. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna hit on some.
My point being, I say this more so on the fact of I'm not here defending. More so as I'm wondering, why was this guy such a deal breaker for so many coaches that they wouldn't even interview with them?
I think that tells you all you got to know.
Yeah, for real.
I do think, and I'm pretty high on this coming into next year. I think Trevor Lawrence is back. I think getting Liam Coen is really dope for him because I do think he's fallen a bit behind in the quarterback department just because of the fact that his infrastructure hasn't been the prettiest, in terms of that offensive line, in terms of just getting him consistent coordinators, getting him a head coach. And in terms of him just having consistent weapons, Kirk has been dealing with some injuries for a couple years now. You have Evan Ingram, who's banged up a lot this year. You finally got your star stud at Brian Thomas Jr. I know some of us, we didn't believe in Gabe Davis' talent, at the wide receiver position.
I forgot he played for them.
Yo, he legit played. Yeah, he's not good. Shout out to Josh Allen. Shout out to Josh Allen, made him look better than what he is. But now you have your foundation. You have Trevor Lawrence. You have Brian Thomas Jr. Hopefully, you can breathe some life into that running game. You have a solid running back at the talent. Travis Etienne is solid. So I think you can get some life in that running game. And then you just continue to build talent. You have Evan Ingram. So you have a tight end, you have a wide receiver, you have Trevor Lawrence. You have that. So I do believe in the Liam Coen.
Dog shit.
Oh my God.
Well, you're looking at the
dog
draft.
shit.
Oh my God.
not good.
It really was bad. So bad.
He's terrible.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the
Jaguars fans
draft,
have been asking him to get fired for years.
you're looking at the draft, but the signings are even worse. Like, the signings that they made, Mitch Morse, Gabe Davis, Trent Baalke just had some pretty bad signings. Shaq Griffin a couple years ago, the corner. So, yeah.
He wasn't bad in Seattle, but
No,
yeah.
he wasn't, but yeah, he flopped really bad with the Jags. So, I
I'm
think
with
that's
you,
the major
but
thing.
I was just more so curious as like teams, potential coaches not even wanting to interview.
No, because you got to understand, like, he has so much power in that building to where he's deciding personnel. He's deciding who they draft. He's deciding who they're going to sign. And as a coach, you don't want to be put in a position like that with somebody who he's made it through 2 coaching firings. Urban Meyer got fired, and then Doug Peterson got fired, and Trent Baalke's still here. And it took them until the final whistle to realize that we're about to not have Liam Coen for them to finally pull the trigger and fire this guy. So, no, like, good for them for finally realizing it, but goddamn, it took a lot to get there.
For real.
I
I'm
didn't
with
think
you.
Doug was going to make it to the end of the year, honestly.
Yeah, I know. This is great, though. This is great for the Jaguars. Liam Coen was... We all had questions once Dave Canales moved on, right? Because we thought he was so great. And he did a really good job as offense coordinator, but... Shit, Liam Coen came in, and you forgot about Dave Canales real fucking
though.
quick, especially the upgrade that they have in the run game. Of course, adding Bucky Irving was a
O-line
huge
got
part
better
of that.
too.
Offensive line did get better, but this is one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. Baker Mayfield had a career season, touchdowns, yards. He was out of this world good, so good at the fact that John was taking over guys like Jalen Hurts. He was having a
Sounds like
career
some
year.
shit you would do.
Whoa, never that. Jalen Hurts, my brother. But this is really good. I think in a vacuum, I always want an offensive-minded head coach rather than a defensive-minded head coach, especially if you have a young quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, whose potential really hasn't been realized yet. Like, this is still a guy that was a generational talent. I still think he has that in him. And now you have a bona fide alpha #1 top 5 type receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. Still a ton of holes on this team. I don't love Travis Etienne at this point. I think Tank Bigsby is like a nice change of pace back. I don't know if he's ever going to be a workhorse. The offensive line needs help. Do have a solid wide receiver too in Christian Kirk, but this team has a ton of holes and a ton of needs they have to assess. That's why I think getting rid of Baalke was such a big deal because, like Joel mentioned, or like Riv, I forgot whoever you said it, he has gone through multiple different head coaches. He has gone through multiple drafts. He has gone through multiple free agency periods. He's missed on basically fucking everything. So the fact that you finally fired a GM now, you're a bit behind on the 8 ball because the Raiders have hired their GM, although it's not official, but they kind of did. The Jets are in their final stages. The Titans hired a GM. So you're definitely lagging behind, but at least you have some fresh new ideas that go into there because Baalke was not that guy. No fucking shout to our guy Brett wanted him fired. Chill take, shout to Darian wanted him fired. Bunch of Jags fans were not happy about Trent Baalke. So excited for Jags fans because you deserve a head coach that can get the best out of Trevor Lawrence. Because if you can, this is a guy that could be a top 7 quarterback in the league. This is a guy that the way we're talking about Jaden Daniels, that's what we expected Trevor Lawrence to be. Like CJ Stroud last year, that's what we expected Trevor Lawrence to be. He's still got all the talent in the world. I'm excited to see what Liam Coen can do with him.
Is there any report on who the new GM is going to be or not yet?
I mean, there's fired
none
him.
yet.
Yeah.
In 2022, Baalke had a good free agent class, but look at this past season. Eric Armstead, Gabe Davis, Ronald Darby, Darnell Savage, Mitch Morse.
Was Eric Armstead that bad?
Aaron Armstead was supposed to be a decent.
Yeah, pretty much they all kind of were. They all kind of.
Gabe Davis is nuts.
Part of that's coaching too, right? Like you don't have a great coach and DC, OC, you make these you make these signings and can't coach them up, can't get the scheme right. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, they gave out roughly $90 million guaranteed to sign 7 free agents last offseason.
7 not good ones.
Yeah, and really, there's probably like only one of them that is like a star.
Hey, at least you got BTJ.
For real.
Yeah, no, Brian Thomas Jr. is a saving grace, and that's going to be big.
I am excited for Liam Coen with this rush attack. See if it can salvage it at all.
Yeah, because, I mean, they have talent. I mean, look at the Buccaneers. Bucky Irving was a revelation, but, you know, anybody that ran behind that offensive line played well, whether it was Sean Tucker, Rashad White was efficient this year. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, they have a lot of talent, and they can be a really good running back
Etienne
duo.
just hasn't moved me, man.
I don't blame you. I think he still is a good pass catching option. It's just rushing. He's
I think
like
you
talking
can
about the first round. I thought
get
he
something
was
out
a
of
star.
him.
Yeah, and then with Brian Thomas Jr., like, I mean, I mentioned the screen thing with Liam Coen. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. early in the season was used as a deep threat. Then when Mac Jones was in the offense, he was used more in the screen game and more inside. You know, he's going to get peppered with targets in this offense. And this is one of those guys that can maybe get 100 receptions next year while also being a deep threat in the offense. Like, I'm very excited for him.
I think Travis's brother's coming out this year.
he is.
Trevor
From
Etienne.
Florida.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me ask you: is Jahmyr Gibbs who people thought Travis Etienne would be?
Cook.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, I think Gibbs is probably a better prospect. Obviously, he went drafted. He got drafted higher too, but yeah, that's not a bad comp.
I see why you say it. It makes sense.
They dual threat, great receiving back, great running
Trav coming
back.
out was supposed to be
Yeah,
a
he was
dude.
supposed
And it
to be
was
explosive.
Trevor Lawrence too. The combo goes
supposed
from
to be a dude,
Clemson
for
to the
sure.
pros, and it just hasn't really worked out.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod and on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.